Hey people, welcome back to the channel. This is a story in which Naruto meets Kurama in the land of waves and they have a mutual friendship. In this story Naruto shifts toward his mother's side as a Uzumaki seal master. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the video. Leave a comment if you want to suggest fanfic. Check the description for credits and support the creator of the story. So let us begin. Chapter 11. Round 2, Welcome to the Forest of Death. Danger. Stay out. A sign read as the group of remaining candidates stared at the dark forest in front of them. Welcome to the stage of the second round of the Chunin exams, Practice Area 44, also known as the Forest of Death, Anko said as a bunch of gulps were heard from the crowd. Hey, and you'll soon find out why it's called the Forest of Death. Meh, and you'll soon find out why it's called the Forest of Death, Naruto said, mocking Anko. Responding to the kid's insult, Anko pulled out a kunai and threw it at Naruto so that it made a small cut along his cheek. Kids like you are quickly killed in here, spraying that red blood that I love so much, Anko said, licking the blood off Naruto's cheek. She pulled another knife, feeling as if something was approaching her from behind. Here's your kunai, a mysterious grass ninja said, handing Anko her knife with his tongue. Why thank you, Anko smiled. But don't creep up behind me like that, unless you want to die. Everyone was a bit creeped out at the examiner and the grass ninja. Looks like we have a lot of bloodthirst ones in this test, this will be fun. Now, before we start, you must fill out these waivers. What? Why? Naruto asked. Because there will be deaths in this exam, Anko let loose a cheerful smile, creeping out even more participants. And we can't have your deaths starting wars and everything. Now, I'm going to explain the rules to this test. Each team will check into that booth behind me. Your team will then receive one scroll. It will either be a heaven scroll or an earth scroll. Since there are 30 teams here, 15 will get an earth scroll and 15 will get a heaven scroll. In the middle of this area, there is a tower. You are to bring both a heaven and an earth scroll to the tower. So that's why you said you will cut the group in half, Sasuke said. Yes. Now, this area is a dense forest with a river running through the middle. A tower is located at the middle of the area, about 10 kilometers from each side, Anko said, holding up a map of the area. Around this perimeter, there are 44 locked gates. This will be considered a survival exercise. You may use any weapons or jutsu to complete the task. The only rule is that you cannot open the scrolls until you enter the tower with both scrolls. Other than that, there are no rules and killing is allowed. Also, there is a time limit. The test lasts 120 hours, or 5 days. If you are not at the tower at the end of the time limit, your team is disqualified. What? 5 days? Naruto yelled out. But what about dinner? The forest is full of food. Just make sure you're not on anything's menu, Anko said. Now, 15 teams passing is very unlikely as there are poisonous snakes, insects, and beasts, along with enemy ninja. So, not only will some teams fail from losing their scrolls, but some will also die from the harshness of the course. Also, there is no quitting. You will be in the forest for the entire 5 days, unless of course you make it to the tower early. All the teams proceeded to collect their scrolls and went to their designated gates. Team 7 had an obvious advantage having an extra person, but at the same time they were at a disadvantage as everyone would be coming for them. This was because they were rookies. Sasuke didn't mind this as that would mean he got to fight more people. A lot of teams, especially those containing experienced veterans, were now glad that they could actually kill from now on, as that would make things easier for them. The test began at 4 p.m., giving everyone until 4 o'clock 5 days from then to complete the test. Begin was heard as the gates of the forest were unlocked and the genin were let loose. So basically everyone is heading to the tower, Kiba said as his team was taking a leisurely walk through the forest of death. It was then that an enemy team in the trees spotted them. However, Team 8 was considered tracking specialists and Akamaru's nose picked them up instantly. Hey, already? Kiba sounded excited, while Hinata was still rather nervous. Shino was indifferent, as usual. Kids standing in the open, one of the observers said. Did they want to be found? Although it looks like they have sensed us, but they don't know our exact location. Suddenly, another of the observers felt something drop onto his shoulder and latch onto the back of his neck. What the hell is that? The third screamed out. That thing had turned out to be a giant leech that was sucking the ninja dry. Before the other two had a chance to pull the leech off of their teammate, they too were attacked. All three ninja now had multiple leeches sucking on them and were unconscious in a matter of minutes. Leaf-jumping leeches will sense the nearest life sources and attack in groups. After 5 minutes of sucking, you will be dead, Shino said, revealing his knowledge of insects and other insect-like beasts. Kiba approached the unconscious ninja and searched them for a scroll. Yes. We got luck, Akamaru. They had a heaven scroll, Kiba said out of excitement. Alright guys, now let's get to that tower before trouble comes. Og. Various screams echoed from around the forest. Enko was sitting at the starting booth enjoying her dango and those delightful screams of pain and terror. Sounds like it started, she said, letting out a creepy yet happy smile. Was that a human scream? Naruto asked out. He could see Sakura getting nervous. Don't work, Sakura, this is nothing. Naruto turned around needing to relieve himself, only to be smacked by Sakura. Not in front of a lady. You idiot. She screamed as Haku sighed. Suddenly, Sasuke punched Naruto hard as he came back from relieving himself. Where's the real Naruto? Wait, what are you talking about, Sasuke? Sakura asked. No, Sakura, he's right. That Naruto doesn't have the scratch on his cheek from earlier, Haku said. Suddenly, the real Naruto came out of the bushes from behind them as Haku pointed towards him. See? Oh, yeah I do, Sakura said, noticing the scratch on a now confused Naruto's face. Haku threw a Senbon into the fake Naruto's neck, dispelling the transformation and leaving an unconscious rain ninja in its place, just as two more rain ninja came leaping out of the trees. They had hoped to take the group by surprise while they were arguing with the fake Naruto, but Haku had put an end to it. By the time they started their attack, it was too late. The four of them split up, leaving Sasuke and Naruto to fight one of the rain ninja and Haku and Sakura to fight the other two. One ninja found an opening in Sasuke and threw a few knives with exploding tags towards Sasuke, forcing him to jump off the tree that he had taken post on. Naruto threw a few shuriken at the ninja and a kunai towards Sasuke. As the ninja was distracted with fending off Naruto's attack, Sasuke grabbed the knife with chakra coming out of his foot and flung it towards the ninja, striking him in the shoulder. Naruto used the opening to test out his new jutsu in combat. He threw a single shuriken at the injured ninja. Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu. For the ninja, even injured, one shuriken was nothing, but 40 was a different story. Out of desperation, the rain ninja used his arms and legs to defend his torso and chest, but resulted in the shuriken tearing up his arms and legs, effectively leaving him immobilized from the damage done. The last remaining rain ninja was engaging in a taijutsu battle with Sakura. As Sakura began to go on the offensive, the rain ninja started backing up. He had a lot of room to move and figured he would gain some distance before countering with his own set of blows. However, his plan was cut short when a mirror of ice appeared behind him, stopping him. All he could do now was try to block Sakura's blows and look for a way out. Hyoten. Demonic ice mirrors. Haku shouted out as a dome of ice mirrors formed around Sakura and the ninja. The rain ninja looked on in surprise at Haku's jutsu. They had never seen an ice jutsu, and the fact that a leaf kid could do something like this stunned him long enough for Sakura to get in a few blows. Sakura, get out, Haku called as Sakura backed off her assault. The rain ninja thought he was finally free until he saw Haku's image in each mirror. Suddenly, he was pelted by numerous Senbon. After Haku's attack was complete, the rain ninja was unconscious and would not be moving for some time. Haku looked over to Sasuke and Naruto's opponent, who had just been hit by about 40 shuriken to the arms and legs. He threw a Senbon to that ninja's neck, knocking him unconscious. Well, that was easy, Sasuke said. Now, let's see what kind of scroll they have. The team searched the unconscious rain ninja, revealing that they had an earth scroll on them. Damn. What should we do with it? Sakura said. Keep it. It's worthless to them now, seeing as it will take about a week to recover from those wounds, Sasuke said. Plus it might come in handy if we can find someone to bargain with it. The team agreed. Alright, but to avoid something like that again, we need to come up with something so that we know that it is us, Sakura suggested. Let's see, Haku is the only one I know of who can use ice style and it can't be copied, and you have your Sharingan, Sasuke. But for me and Naruto. They came up with the idea of using a code word for Naruto and Sakura, as there was nothing special they could use to distinguish the two. Team 7 took off, trying to avoid any unnecessary attention, however, they were unknowingly being followed. After about an hour, they stopped. Sasuke. Haku said. Yeah, I know, Sasuke said. Jump. He shouted as a barrage of needles sailed towards them. They turned to face their attackers. They were now scattered. When they regrouped, Haku and Sasuke revealed their blood limits and Sakura and Naruto recited the code. Sasuke attacked Naruto once again. Sasuke, why did you attack Naruto? Sakura asked, shocked that she had to say that twice in the past hour. He had said the code word, which at first put Sakura at ease. It was then that she realized this was Naruto they were dealing with. To them, he didn't have the mental capacity to remember such a long and complex code. Do you really think Naruto would be able to memorize the code? Sasuke said, sarcastically as both Sakura and Haku nodded in agreement. Not far from where the rest of Team 7 was, Naruto found himself facing a giant snake. What the hell is up with this forest? I've never seen a snake so big. Naruto thought to himself. Kit, something is not right. That snake is not normal and I can feel an evil presence around here. Be on your guard, warned the fox. The snake lunged towards Naruto, who just barely dodged it. However, he didn't notice the tail, which hit him and sent him flying into a nearby tree. Soon after, the snake lunged at him again, catching Naruto in the mouth and swallowing him. Damn it. It swallowed me, Naruto thought. What to do? What to do? This might work. Kurama had obviously thought of something. Remember those times when you ate too much ramen and felt like you were going to burst? Naruto suddenly got what the fox was talking about. Multi-shadow clone jutsu, he called out as roughly 400 Narutos appeared in the snake's rapidly expanding stomach. Unfortunately for the snake, it wasn't big enough to handle that many Narutos and it burst apart, leaving Naruto covered in snake guts. Naruto bolted off towards where his team was. When the fake Naruto recovered, he undid the transformation, revealing himself to be that grass ninja from before. You want my heaven scroll, right? The ninja asked, holding out his scroll. He then proceeded to swallow the scroll, creeping out the 3 genin in front of him. Now, let's begin the battle for each other's scroll with our lives on the line. Sakura and Sasuke stood there frozen. Images of their own gruesome death flooded their minds. Haku was affected as well, but not to the same extent as his teammates, as he had experienced the effects of massive killing intent while traveling with Zabuza. Their enemy flicked a few kunai towards the 3. Sakura and Sasuke were still frozen and would be unable to move unless something was done. Sasuke did the only thing he could think of and stabbed his leg with his knife to break the hold of the terror, giving him the ability to move in time. Haku had also reacted and created a few ice mirrors to save himself and Sakura. Sasuke looked back at their attacker, revealing his Sharingan to their opponent, before disappearing into the trees. Well, it appears as if these kids have some interesting powers, the grass ninja thought to himself. Time to have some fun. Enko felt as if something wasn't right. After investigating the area around the Forest of Death, her suspicions were confirmed when she came across 3 lifeless bodies of grass ninja. Upon further examination, she found that they were missing their faces. What? No, it can't be, she said, clutching the back of her neck in pain. Why is he here? Suddenly, a squadron of Anbu appeared behind her. She briefed the squad on her findings and the person she believed to be responsible for the crime. Orochimaru. Sakura could see that Sasuke was terrified and she tried to say something to calm him down, only for Sasuke to quickly cover her mouth. We have to get out of here. That guy is like nothing we have ever seen before, Sasuke thought to himself. Suddenly, a snake appeared in front of him. It struck at Sasuke, only to be pelted in the head by numerous Senbon, pinning it against a tree and killing it. Sasuke took a deep breath, trying to relax, but was quickly put back on alert when the grass ninja emerged from the corpse of the dead snake. You guys shouldn't relax even a little. Prey should always be looking for a way to run in the presence of a predator, their enemy said. Out of nowhere, roughly 40 shuriken were sent at the ninja as he managed to snake his way around it. Sorry I'm late, Naruto said, appearing on scene. Oh, and what was that code again? I forgot. Naruto. Sakura said, relieved that he had arrived and was alive. I don't know what you're doing, trying to play hero. Just run away. This one's on a whole nother level, Sasuke shouted out. He then did the only thing he could think of. If you leave us, I'll give you our scroll. What the hell are you talking about? Why would you give the scroll to the enemy? Naruto shouted out. I see, very smart, the mysterious ninja said. Sometimes, the only way to escape a predator is to give it a different meal. Sasuke tossed the scroll towards their enemy, only for Naruto to grab it and punch Sasuke in the face. What was that all of the sudden, you bastard? Sasuke screamed at Naruto. Even though you may have your Sharingan, I can still tell you are not the real Sasuke, Naruto responded. You total moron, I am the real Sasuke, Sasuke rebutted. There is no way such a stupid coward like you could be the real Sasuke, Naruto stated. I don't know how strong this guy is, but what guarantee is there that he will go away if we give his the scroll? You're the one too freaked out by the situation. Hehe, you're right Naruto. I can just take your scroll and kill you, the ninja said, taking some blood and rubbing it on a seal on his arm. Summoning jutsu, the ninja said, summoning an even larger snake, which he was now standing on. The snake then proceeded to slam Naruto into the ground as the three genin screamed out his name. This really is bad kid, Kurama said to Naruto. You think? Naruto responded. I keep getting smacked around by damn snakes. There is something about that man that even gives me the chill. If you are going to survive this, you are going to need my help. Alright, then stop talking and start giving me your power, Naruto said to the fox. Just give me a few moments, I'm going to try and push as much power through the seal that I can without damaging your body. I've just got the feeling that you're going to need as much as you can get. Naruto was flung by the snake's head, who was trying to become the second snake to eat him today. As the snake lunged at him, Naruto's pupils began to take on a red color with narrow pupils. His teeth grew into small fangs and his fingers grew claws as the Kyuubi's power began to course through him. As Naruto's transformation completed, the snake slammed its tail into him, knocking him backwards through a few trees. There is no doubt about this kid, the mysterious ninja thought. This is getting fun, now what will you do Sasuke? The giant snake lunged at Sasuke, who was too frozen to move. The snake stopped, feet from Sasuke. Naruto had jumped in the way and stopped it in its tracks. No way, is that Naruto. Sasuke thought, lapsing into almost Hinata-class stuttering. Something was different about this Naruto. The power that he was emitting was immense and he had taken on a slightly feral appearance. It was almost demonic in a sense. Hey, are you alright, scaredy cat? Naruto said, questioning Sasuke. Sasuke just sat there, frozen by the turn of events. Temari and Kankuro felt the blast of demonic chakra, making them tremble in fear. It was similar to the chakra that Gaara emitted when his killing instincts took over him, which was happening right now. That chakra. Mother's sand craves for it. I must see who it is and I must have its blood, Gaara said as he darted off towards the source of the demonic presence. Chapter 12. Round 2. The Forest of Jinchuriki. Sasuke snapped back to reality. The sad part was that Naruto was right. The two of them were facing the Snake Master while Haku joined their side. Fine, I'll show you I am no scaredy cat, Naruto, Sasuke said as he activated the Sharingan. Naruto, Haku, and Sasuke all pulled out their shuriken, Senbon for Haku, tossing them at the snake summoned. Naruto's were aimed left while Haku's were aimed right. As the grass ninja tried to back up out of range of the weapons, he found himself against an ice mirror. Sasuke's shuriken were coming straight towards him, but broke off course at the last second. Hehe, can't seem to kill me. You will learn what a mistake you made, Sasuke, the snake ninja said as Sasuke smirked. With a flick of the wrist, he revealed the wire attached to the shuriken. Controlling and manipulating them, the shuriken wrapped back around, tying his opponent to Haku's ice. Kaden, Fire Dragon Bullet. Sasuke called out, sending a stream of powerful flames sailing towards their enemy. When the smoke cleared, the mirror was practically completely melted, but their opponent remained. From the looks of it, his skin was burnt and peeling away. A wave of killing intent struck the four genin as Sakura joined them at their side. This time, it was more intense than it had been before. The four genin looked on in horror as the man's skin peeled away to reveal an even more sinister face. Kit, This is really bad. I am beginning to sense even some dark and evil power coming from this guy, Kurama informed Naruto. You will most likely be unconscious for a few hours after this, but I'm going to push more power through the seal and try and get you into the one-tailed state. Who the hell are you? Sasuke called out, still paralyzed by fear. My name is Orochimaru, the snake man hissed. If you want to see me again, then survive this exam. Of course that means defeating my men, the Sound Ninja Trio. Why the hell would we ever want to see you again? Sakura called out. I'm going to give you a little going away present, Sasuke. In time, you will come seek me out. With that, Orochimaru extended his neck towards Sasuke, looking like he was ready to bite him. Naruto stepped in front of the snake man, catching his head in a headlock just before he was able to reach Sasuke. Red chakra began to bubble around him, forming a demonic chakra cloak. I won't let you touch him, you creepy bastard. Naruto called out, punching Orochimaru in the face and sending him backwards as the chakra cloak fully enveloped Naruto, taking on an almost animalistic appearance. Naruto's team looked on in shock at the transformation that was taking place. Slowly, the cloak began to look more fox-like, with a tail and ears emerging. What did you do to him? Sakura called out, thinking this was Orochimaru's doing. Hehe, why don't you ask him yourself? Orochimaru responded. Sasuke, you are too valuable for me to let you escape without giving you some of my power first. But first, I know how to take care of your fox brat friend. Sakura, I don't think that is Orochimaru. I've felt this chakra from Naruto before, Haku said. Back in the land of waves, that's where I've felt that power of his before. Sakura took back her words and watched in astonishment as Naruto engaged Orochimaru, cloaked in this mysterious red chakra. Orochimaru lunged straight at Naruto. 5.C. Huh. Orochimaru was stopped dead in his tracks. Something was snaking up his legs, working its way closer to the rest of his body. He looked around to see sand. It was then that he realized he would be in trouble if he stuck around much longer. Mother wants their blood, Gaara said, appearing on scene and unleashing his own wave of killing. Intent. I will be the one to kill them, and I'll kill you as well. Orochimaru managed to snake his way out of Gaara's sand claws. He was shocked. A couple of genin were forcing him to retreat, although two of them had demon-infused chakra coursing through their veins. Damn, I'm not going to be able to get to Sasuke now. Oh well, I'm sure I can think of a way to get him. With that, Orochimaru left as Gaara turned his attention to Naruto, Sakura, Sasuke, and Haku. Mother wants your blood, Gaara said as his sand crept towards them. Naruto didn't know what to think, but the killing intent radiating from Gaara told his teammates to back away. Damn, the fox swore to Naruto. Why did it have to be him? Who? Naruto asked in confusion. I'm almost positive of it now. It's the Ikibi, Shukaku. He's the weakest of us, but he's seriously annoying, not to mention insane. I'd recognize the bloodlust of that badger coming from that kid anywhere, Kurama informed Naruto. Kit, work on getting your team out of here. You might not have noticed, but I can't keep up the cloak for much longer. Once the cloak dissipates, you will most likely lose consciousness. Naruto turned to his teammates. Guys, let's get out of here. I've got a bad feeling about this guy. What do you mean get out of here? You were the one who suggested we stay and fight. Sasuke argued with his demon-cloaked teammate. And care explaining that red chakra around you. I will, but just trust me on this, we need to get out of here, Naruto said. He's right, a blonde Kumo Kunoichi said, jumping down next to Naruto. This is one opponent you guys don't want to fight, given the condition you are in. Who are you? Sakura asked as the five of them were now dodging Gaara's sand. Yugito ni, the cloud Kunoichi said. But now is not the time for introductions. With that, Yugito made a few hand seals. Kaiten, Hellcat flames. She shouted as three flaming tigers roared towards Gaara, enveloping him in flames. That will distract him for a little, now let's go. The five of them took off, away from Gaara. As they were moving, Naruto's demon cloak began to fade and he slowly lost consciousness. Realizing that Naruto was fading, Sasuke went to catch his falling teammate and regrouped with the rest of his team. Temari and Kankuro arrived to see Gaara wrapped in flaming tigers. Once the flames ceased, Gaara was unharmed, due to a cocoon of sand encasing him. Gee Gaara. Kankuro said, cautiously approaching his teammate. Kankuro, Tamari, let's go. Mother needs blood and lots of it, Gaara called out, letting some killing intent flow from him. Kankuro and Tamari wanted to object, but knew that Gaara would just kill them as well. What caused Gaara to become so bloodthirsty all of the sudden? They both thought, leaving to go satisfy Gaara's bloodlust. Team 7 plus Yugito came to rest near the river. They set Naruto underneath the roots of a large tree, hiding him from sight of any enemies. Yugito, do you know what's going on? Sakura asked. Everyone else wanted to know. They had caught a slight glimpse of Yugito's reaction to Naruto's condition upon arrival and realized that there was something she knew. I do, the Kumo Kunoichi said. But I think your friend should be the one to tell you. As for that Suna kid, let's just say he has a serious mental problem. Now, I don't want to do anything to hurt you, so please don't attack me and I won't kill you. What makes you think you can kill us? Sasuke responded, taking that as a challenge. First, you are in no condition fight. You need to rest. And second, let's just say that kid of yours and I have something in common. They were unsure as to what Yugito was talking about. She risked herself even further by telling them that she was familiar with the kind of power that Naruto had displayed, only making Team 7 want to know more. Why should we believe you? You could just be here for our scroll. Sakura said. Yugito pulled out a scroll, revealing it to be an earth scroll. We have the same scrolls from what I saw back there, and I have no need for a third earth scroll, Yugito responded. Team 7 was in the same situation with 2 earth scrolls and no desire for a third as well. If you think I am going to harm you, then attack me now and I will flee. After a short hesitation, Team 7 decided to accept Yugito's company for the time being. What do you think? Yugito thought to herself. It's definitely one of us, a voice within Yugito said. His cloak features seemed rather fox-like. Wait. It couldn't be Kurama, could it? Kurama. Yugito responded. The Kyuubi. Yes, I am pretty sure that Kurama is within that kid. It's been over 100 years and I've actually been looking forward to seeing him. Oh, do I look okay? I hope he's still not bitter like he was 100 years ago and wants to talk. I really do want to talk to him. Yugito let out a little laugh, catching the attention of Haku. It's almost nightfall, Enko thought to herself, darting through the trees of the forest. I must find him before it's too late. I must stop him even if it costs my life. Even if I can't, I must slow him down enough for the Anbu to arrive. I must stop you, isn't that right? Orochimaru, Enko said, turning to the snake man camouflaging himself with a tree. Why are you here? Enko threw a few poisoned needles at Orochimaru, who snaked his way around them. He lashed out his tongue, binding Enko's wrists. You won't get me this time, Shadow Snake Fangs. Suddenly, snakes erupted out of Enko's wrists and bit Orochimaru's tongue, forcing him to recall it. If you really must know, I'm doing some body shopping. I've picked out a fresh young Uchiha that will work out nicely. The snake let out an evil laugh. Enko knew what that meant. Orochimaru had given Sasuke Uchiha the curse mark. Enko charged into him, forcing Orochimaru back into a tree and pinning him there with a kunai. Hey, caught you, she said, letting out a little smirk. Now let me borrow your left hand. Enko made a seal between her right hand and his left hand. That seal. Orochimaru thought, a little bit of fear coursing through him. Yes, Enko said with an evil smirk. You and I will both die. Double snake assassination. Suddenly, Orochimaru disappeared in a puff of smoke, revealing himself to be nothing more than a shadow clone. Enko cursed under her breath as Orochimaru had escaped her grasp once again. Suddenly, the real Orochimaru came up behind her, ripping the burnt skin and revealing his true face. Enko clutched her shoulder as the pain of her curse mark flared up. Please don't end this exam. There are some things I want to enjoy, including 3 from my own village, the snake ninja said. If you stop this exam prematurely, I will destroy your precious village. With that, Orochimaru disappeared, leaving Enko lying on the tree branch to deal with the pain of her curse mark. Surprisingly, Team 7 managed to get a good sleep, with everyone, except Naruto, taking 3-hour shifts for guard duty. After about 9 hours of resting, Naruto still had yet to wake. Like Orochimaru-sama said, we attack at daybreak, a sound ninja hiding in the bushes said. Our target is Sasuke Uchiha. If the others get in our way, we just kill them, including that Kumo girl. As morning broke, Sakura was the one on guard. She noticed a ruffling in the bushes and threw a kunai towards it, revealing nothing more than a squirrel. As she let out a sigh of relief, another animal came running towards her out of the bushes. She threw another knife at the animal, noticing that it was carrying something, an explosive tag. This put her on guard as she proceeded to wake Sasuke, Haku, Yugito, and attempted to wake Naruto, to no avail. Just as she was going to wake Sasuke, there was a voice behind the trees. Don't wake Sasuke. We want to fight him, but you'll just get in the way. What are you here for? That Orochimaru creep sent you, didn't he? Sakura shouted, waking the others with the exception of Naruto. Upon seeing Sasuke get up, the three sound ninja were in a slight state of shock. How are you up? The one with black Kakashi-like hair said. I thought the mark Orochimaru gave you should have put you in too much discomfort to fight, if not killed you. What mark? Said a confused Sasuke. Everyone else wanted to know about this mark the sound ninja were talking about. After hearing that, he remembered Orochimaru's head traveling towards them, but Naruto stepping in the way to block it with that weird chakra cloak around him. What do you mean, what mark? The curse mark that should be on the back of your neck, the sound ninja said. There is no mark, your boss never gave me a curse mark, thanks to that exhausted idiot over there, Sasuke said pointing to Naruto. But, how did Orochimaru-sama fail? The girl asked. Sasuke just shrugged. Now I suggest you leave before we have to kill you, Sasuke said as Haku, Sakura, and Yugito joined him. Sakura, guard Naruto. I don't want him dying before I find out about that weird power of his. Haku, you take the girl, I'll take the one that stole Kakashi's ridiculous hairstyle, and Yugito you get the other one. The three sound ninja jumped at the four-leaf and cloud ninja. Sakura smiling as they did. Using her knife, she cut a wire, sending two giant logs towards them. When did you do that? Haku asked, surprised by the attack. This morning while everyone was sleeping, Sakura said letting loose a little grin. She even managed to get a smile out of Sasuke, who charged his target. Granted, the rest of the fight wasn't exciting. Sasuke was hoping for a better fight from the sound guys, but all that happened is that the girl found herself a human pincushion. The Kakashi-looking guy broke one of his arms after Sasuke kicked him right into one of Sakura's traps, and the last sound ninja wound up being chased by flaming cats for a solid 15 minutes. After all was said and done, the sound ninja had a damn earth scroll on them. The last thing they all needed was another earth scroll. Morning everyone, Naruto yawned. His attention turned to the defeated sound ninja. Did I miss something? Everyone's sweat dropped as they were wondering how anyone could sleep with a fight going on near them, considering that there was a Naruto-shaped outline made of shuriken and kunai on the tree directly behind where he was. Somehow, the lucky kid managed to avoid any projectile thrown his way. Seeing their opportunity, the sound ninja escaped. Sasuke now had the chance to ask the question that everyone wanted to know the answers to. Naruto, about yesterday, what happened? He asked as everyone's attention turned to Naruto. Well, I don't really want to talk about it, Naruto said, trying to avoid the subject, which he was really bad at to start with. And why not? Sakura said, trying to be nice and play the opposite to Sasuke's forcefulness. Does it have something to do with that weird chakra? Haku asked, remembering their battle on the bridge. Naruto nodded. For some reason though, he could see Yugito looking at him with a look of sadness and understanding. It was then that Naruto realized that the two of them were similar. Which one? He asked Yugito. You, she responded to him. Now everyone wanted desperately to know what they were talking about. 9, Naruto said. What the hell are you two talking about? Sakura said butting in. Sakura, can I ask you a question? Naruto said. He was no longer the cheerful blonde-haired idiot that they all knew and loved. In his eyes, they could see a hint of pain and suffering. So are you going to tell them? Kurama asked his host. Yeah. They've already seen enough and I'm tired of keeping secrets. If I just hide from them, they will definitely hate me and I would rather have them hating me knowing why they were doing it, Naruto told his resident demon. What is it? Sakura asked Naruto. Do you know why everyone in the village hated me? Naruto asked as everyone went silent. Well, now that you mention it, I never really thought about it, Sakura responded. Naruto's questions brought back flashbacks from Haku's own childhood. He remembered the mob, formed by his own father out of fear, killing his mother. I just stayed away from you because my parents didn't want me to be near you. I remember some people referring to you as a demon child, but what could that possibly mean? Do you know about the Kyuubi attack on the village almost 13 years ago? Naruto asked as Sakura and Sasuke nodded. The Kyuubi. Well, I was told it was an evil monster that attacked our village. However, the fourth sacrificed himself to kill the demon and save the village, Sakura said. Inside, Kurama scoffed at the comment. What if I told you that story was made up? Naruto said. What do you mean by that? Sasuke asked, still not picking up on anything. Haku was slowly realizing that something was up, but was unsure due to his lack of Lee village knowledge. For the past 12 years, the third put a law into place to try and protect me, however, that ended up backfiring and the entire village ended up resenting me, seeing me as some remnant of that night, Naruto said, taking a deep breath. On that night, the only way the fourth could defeat the Kyuubi was to seal the Kyuubi inside a newborn infant. No, gasped Sakura, suddenly realizing what Naruto was trying to say. Yes, Sakura, that infant was me, Naruto said as he saw her eyes tear up. Sasuke stood in shock at the revelation. Haku understood all too well what it was like to be feared and cast aside, but was still in shock that this kid had an actual demon inside of him. However, Yugito was the only one who truly understood his pain. Before you go freaking out and try to hate me like the rest of the village, please understand that I am not the Kyuubi. It's not like I had a choice in the matter and it just happened. I'm still Naruto, it's just that I have the Kyuubi inside me. Naruto looked up at his team, who just stared at him in shock. There was no way their little knuckle-headed teammate could have a demon. Sakura. Naruto asked. Sakura was trying her best to suppress her regret for treating Naruto like a piece of crap in the past. I never knew, her voice trailed off. That's why everyone hated you. Naruto nodded. Sakura was at a loss for words. Naruto looked at Sasuke who was just looking at him with his usual demeanor. Sasuke. Naruto asked. Is something wrong? Sasuke shook his head. It's just hard to believe that someone like you could have a demon inside of him. You've always been so positive, despite everything that you've gone through. I know the feeling of loneliness, it tears at you. Having to bear that for 12 years, how did you do it? Don't you hate the villagers for doing what they did to you? Naruto smiled. No, I don't hate them. I just see it as I need to prove them wrong and show them who I really am. You mean a blonde-haired, mischief-making idiot? Sasuke let that joke slip, enraging Naruto a little. But Naruto soon realized that was just how Sasuke is and he realized that his team wasn't going to abandon him like the rest of the village. After what you did yesterday. It sounds like that creep was going to give me some sort of curse and you were able to stop him and save us, Naruto. We talked about what all the possibilities for that weird chakra you had were, but we came up to the same conclusion. Huh? Naruto said, a little confused. We decided that regardless of what it was, you just wanted to protect us, so we wouldn't hate you for whatever it was that you said, Sakura said, reassuring Naruto. Naruto just gave his team a big smile. Somehow, his team had managed to look past the demon inside him after his actions yesterday saved them from that creepy snake dude. Hey Kurama, can you hear me at all? Another voice inside Naruto's head called out. Barely, is that you Matabi? This connection is shaky, probably because of this damned seal, Kurama said. AHG. Naruto began freaking out, hearing a second voice inside his head. Why are there two voices inside my head? The damn fox was enough, but now there is another one. Everyone looked at him as if he were going insane. Yugito just laughed. It's probably the Nibi. She's been wanting to talk to your friend ever since we realized that you were his Jinchuriki, Yugito said. Wait, does that mean? Sakura said, pointing at Yugito. Yes. Like Naruto, I am a Jinchuriki as well, Yugito explained. While our tailed beasts can normally only talk to us, sometimes they can generate links between other Jinchuriki to talk to other tailed beast. Wait, so that means you can talk to that evil demon, Naruto. Sasuke sent him a suspicious look. Yeah, oh and speaking of which, he's not really evil, just misunderstood, Naruto said as the rest of his team looked on with utter confusion. Naruto explained to them everything that Kurama had told him, and Team 7 did the only thing they could do regarding the matter. They accepted what Naruto was saying. So what you're saying is that you can access the fox's power anytime? Sasuke asked, hoping that was not the case. If Naruto had access to that power all the time, he would never be able to beat his teammate. No. I can only use it in emergency situations, like back there, Naruto said. Sakura asked him why, and Naruto explained that by using the Kyuubi's power with the seal still intact, it would put a major strain on his body, which could also respond in him going unconscious like he did before or even going insane. Plus, if the seal was stressed for too long, it would begin to crack. If the seal broke, then both Naruto and the Kyuubi would die. The only way to safely release the seal was with some sort of key. Most of the conversation between Kurama and Matabi was just regular chit-chat, however, they did get onto an interesting topic. What do you think of that sand kid? Do you think he's? Matabi said. I really hope not, but unfortunately I think so. Kurama responded. Huh. Now they are talking about that Gaara kid, Naruto said to Yugito. What about Gaara? Sasuke asked, trying to get as much info on one of the more powerful competitors as he could. Both of our inhabitants have some to the conclusion that he may also be a Jinchuriki for the Aikibi, Yugito stated as a wave of shock was sent through the Leaf Ninja. They don't really know much more, but they said to watch out for him. Of course, this only made Sasuke want to fight him more. The aspect of going up against something with power similar to that of what Naruto had just displayed was rather invigoration. Now the team turned to Yugito, as their curiosity was directed towards the Kumo Jinchuriki. So why did you come and find us if you are not after our scroll or anything? Sakura asked, wanting to know why she found them and helped them escape from Gaara's sand. To be honest, I needed to get away from my team. Karui and Omoi are two you never want to be around when they start arguing. Especially when Karui starts shooting her head off, Yugito explained as Sakura was reminded of how Naruto and Sasuke act sometimes. Also, Matabi and I wanted to confirm our suspicions about Naruto. Suddenly, they all heard screaming and yelling coming from behind them. Well, looks like my team is here. I had better go before they cause you trouble. Yugito said, leaving the group of Konoha ninja. It was getting late on the third day and the four of them had decided to make their way closer to the tower, with the hope of picking up some opponents camping out to ambush competitors. Their luck paid off and they soon found themselves facing another group of Rain Ninja, who apparently wanted revenge for what Team 7 did to their comrades earlier on. However, they really weren't much of a match for Team 7, who already outnumbered them before Naruto used his shadow clones. Haha. About time. Sakura cheered as she searched the defeated ninja to find a heaven scroll. The four made their way to the tower, leaving just over a day left in the competition. Shortly after, they arrived at the tower and proceeded into their designated rooms. They entered a room to discover no one there, but they found a poster with some sort of saying on it. After seeing that there were missing words, Sakura figured that they would be on the scrolls. The time had come for Team 7 to open their scrolls. As they did, a cloud of smoke appeared in front of them. Team 7 expected one final enemy. Hey, long time no see, the figure in the smoke said. Suddenly, the person was attacked by a small blonde-haired boy who seemed excited to see him. Ruruka-sensei, the rest called out. What are you doing here? Sakura asked. I'm here to congratulate you four for completing the second part of the exam, Ruruka explained. At the end of the exam, it's set up so that we Chunin are able to meet up with the test takers, and it just so happens that I got summoned to meet you four. And it looks like you made it with just over a day to spare. The four of them were happy to complete the second exam. Now, you guys can use the tower to rest up and to see if any other groups arrive. Did anyone else arrive? Sasuke asked. Yes, I believe I saw Kiba, Hinata, and Shino earlier. A group of Cloud Ninja arrived about an hour before you four, and there is one last group of Leaf Ninja here, although I don't really know them, Ruruka said. With that, Team 7 entered the tower to go join the rest of them. Chapter 13. Preliminaries, the purpose for the tests. Damn it, Kurama swore as Team 7 entered the living areas in the tower, only to see Gaara and his team. Why did he have to make it? Oh, just stop it already. If he becomes a problem, then we will just have to beat him up a little, Naruto said to Kurama. Team 7 passed Gaara and the Suna ninja, receiving an evil glare as they did so. They proceeded deeper into the tower, hoping to find Team 8. About time you guys made it, Kiba said, coming to meet them. I was afraid we would have to spend all day with that sand guy. Hey, speaking of which, have you guys noticed something seriously wrong with that guy's head? The four of them nodded in agreement. Following that, they explained their encounter to Kiba. Whoa. You mean you guys ran into him in the forest? Kiba said. And you got out alive. Do you mean you saw him too? Sakura asked. Yeah, we did. Akamaru noticed him, but then began trembling like I've never seen before. I tell you, something is not right about that guy. We watched him mercilessly kill another team using his sand. We thought we were next on his kill list, but something caught his attention and he left, Kiba explained. Team 7 knew all too well what caught Gaara's attention and looked at Naruto. Apparently the fox had managed to save a few more of their friends. At that time Shino and Hinata emerged into the room. Hello, Shino said, greeting his comrades with as few words as possible. He walked into the common area with Hinata following closely behind him. And Naruto, why you made it? The shy girl said, letting out a blush and trying to avoid eye contact. Yep, we sure did. Naruto said. He had returned completely to his normal self since his team found out about the fox. And you made it too. See, I told you Hinata. You would do great. I even understand that you guys were the first ones here. You bet. Guess that makes us the best, Kiba bragged. Sasuke shot him a look, effectively shutting him up. Geez, can't take a joke can you, Uchiha? There are still a lot of powerful ninja here, so you shouldn't go shooting your mouth off like an idiot. That's something I thought only Naruto is dense enough to do, Sasuke said as Naruto yelled back at him. But seriously, don't underestimate anyone here. Especially that Gaara of the desert. I heard that the last test is single combat and if anyone here has to face him, you had better be careful. Everyone took Sasuke's warning. As it got closer to the end of the exam, a few more teams arrived. Amongst them was the trio of Sound Ninja, a team of Waterfall Ninja, Kabuto's team, Lee's team, and Team 10. As the end of the exam neared, everyone in the tower proceeded to the main hall in the tower, as instructed to meet with the proctors of the exam. The timer stopped, the second portion of the exam had concluded. All the candidates who passed the exam were now standing in a large room. On a stage in front of them, stood the Hokage, proctor, and the Jonin senseis for each team. First off, congratulations on passing the second exam, the Hokage announced. Wow, 22 participants out of 90. I was expecting to cut them in half, but I was expecting single digits, Anko thought to herself. I guess Ibiki was right, there are some outstanding ones in this group. The candidates looked around to see who else was there. Some, like Team 10 looked exhausted, beat up, and in Choji's case, starving. Others, like Team 8, who had 4 days of rest, looked refreshed and ready to go. Your team looks pretty good, Kakashi, Guy said to his eternal rival. But as long as my team is around, don't expect them to get any farther. Now, it's all about real ability. Well, with youth, there are sweet times and there are sour times, eh? Kakashi. Huh, said Kakashi, completely ignoring anything Guy had just said. Oh Guy. You say something. Guy turned away and tensed up, clutching a fist. Not bad Kakashi. You're cool in that way and it really gets on my nerves. The Jonin took a look at their students. Baki looked at his team of Sand Ninja and noticed that Gaara was unscathed, but there was something unsettling about him. Something had happened in the forest that had Gaara uneased. Kurenai noted that her team looked shaken by something. Guy admired the youthfulness of his team. Kakashi on the other hand, just gave his team the usual smile and wave. To be honest, he had never imagined that his team would make it this far. He had entered them in hopes that they would mature from this experience, however, it seems as if they were well above his expectations. No wonder they nominated them, the Hokage thought to himself, looking over the rookies. For all of them to make it is surprising to say the least. Hokage-sama will now explain the third test, Anko announced to everyone. Please listen carefully. I will, but first there is something I would like you to know. It's about the true purpose of these exams, the Hokage said. Think about it, why do we have many different countries here if each village could hold their own Chunin exams for their own ninja? Everyone took a few moments to think about what the Hokage was saying. To promote friendship between countries, the Hokage asked. I don't want you to be confused by these exams' true meaning. In reality, this is a replacement for war amongst countries. He received many startled looks from the crowd. War. What does that mean? Tenten said to her team. If you go back in time, current allies were once enemies who fought each other for control, the Hokage explained. In order to prevent fighting, this is the stage these countries chose to do battle on, that is the purpose of these exams. What? Naruto blurted out. Isn't this thing for deciding who becomes Chunin? It is a fact that this exam decides who has what it takes to become Chunin, the Hokage explained. But this exam has another side, where each country's shinobi risk their own life to protect their land's prestige. There will be leaders and influential individuals watching the third exam, many of them come from countries that are clients of shinobi. If the strength of a country is clear, that country will receive more clients, and if seen weak, they will lose clients. Not to mention, it will send a message to other villages that, our village has much power. The strength of a country is the strength of the village. The strength of the village is the strength of the shinobi. And a shinobi's true strength is born only through life-risking battles. But why do you say stuff about being for friendship? Tenten asked. I said in the beginning, I don't want you to confuse the purpose of this. By losing life and establishing balance, this is the shape of friendship in the world of shinobi, the Hokage stated. Before we begin the third test, I will tell you one more thing, this is not just a test. This is a life-risking battle, with your dreams and country's prestige on the line. I'd like to explain the third test but, actually, I apologize Hokage-sama. From here on, as referee, will you please allow me, Gecko Hayate, a sickly-looking ninja said, appearing before the Hokage. The Hokage agreed. Hello everyone, I'm Hayate. Before we begin, there is something I would like you to do. It's a preliminary for the third test. To decide who gets to participate in the main event. Preliminary? Many people questioned in unison. What do you mean? Why aren't all the people here allowed to participate? Sakura asked. Because the first and second tests may have been too easy this year, and we have too many people remaining, Hayate said. According to the rules, we may have a preliminary to reduce the number of participants for the third test. As Hokage-sama said, there are many important individuals and time is important. Now that that is said, if there is anyone who feels like they cannot participate in a preliminary match now, please step forward now and you will be removed. I'm going to quit, Kabuto said. Zaku, whose arm was broken, and one of Kabuto's teammates opted to do the same. One of the Taigakuru ninja did as well. From the waterfall village, there remained one guy and a girl with mint green hair. What Orochimaru said, should we remove Uchiha due to the curse mark? Enko whispered to the Hokage. I don't think that will be possible, Kakashi said, joining the conversation. He is an Uchiha after all. Besides, I don't exactly want to have to deal with Orochimaru's threats. If the mark does not flare up, then let him compete, the Hokage said, much to Enko's disliking. Sasuke turned to his team. I am not backing out. There are too many strong people here that I want to fight, he said. Naruto, I also want to fight you. Naruto stared at his teammate and smiled. Fine, then I want to fight you as well, he responded as their rivalry heated up. Neji turned to his cousin. Hinata, you should also back out. I must admit that I am impressed you made it this far, but if you continue, something bad will surely happen to you, said Neji. Naruto, who was within hearing distance of this, was a little enraged by Neji's unexplained behavior towards Hinata. Bah! What do you know about Hinata? She's strong and she doesn't need to listen to you, responded Naruto. Naruto thinks I am strong. Hinata thought to herself. This gave her the courage to defy her cousin's warnings and remain in the competition. Now if there is no one else, we are going to begin the preliminaries, Hayate announced. Since there are 22 entries now, we will have 11 matches. Each match will be a one-on-one battle with the match ending when one fighter is dead, unconscious, or admits defeat. Enko said something into her headset and a screen appeared on the wall behind them. This electronic scoreboard will show 2 randomly selected people, who will do battle, she said as names began to flash on the screen. After it stopped, two names remained: Sasuke Uchiha and Yori Akato. So soon? Sasuke said, trying to sound surprised. Now, these two entrants come forward while the rest of you, please proceed to the balconies above to watch the matches, Hayate announced. Sasuke, you better not lose if you want to fight me, Naruto said to his teammate. Sasuke gave him his usual look, indicating that he was planning on winning this quick. Kakashi also walked past Sasuke. Sasuke, Kakashi whispered. Don't use the Sharingan. If that mark acts up, I will have to step in and stop the fight. What mark? Sasuke asked, sending a surprised Kakashi a smile and wondering what was up with everyone thinking he had some sort of mark. Kakashi looked at the back of Sasuke's neck to find that the speculations going around the Jonin were false and that Orochimaru had not given Sasuke a curse mark. We'll talk about this later then. I guess just forget about what I said then, Kakashi responded as he went up to the stairs. With that, the match began. Yori started off by making a quick hand seal, and a blue chakra aura surrounded his hands. Sasuke activated his Sharingan as Yori sent a few shuriken sailing towards Sasuke, who easily dodged them. Sasuke charged at Yuru, engaging in a quick taijutsu battle. Sasuke had Yori pinned to the ground, but Yori reached and gripped Sasuke's chest, the blue aura appearing around his hand. Sasuke soon felt some chakra being drained from him as he disengaged from Yori. Shocked at Yori's ability to absorb chakra, he knew he would have to fight this battle from range, or his movements would have to be quick and precise. How's that curse mark feeling, Sasuke? Yori thought to himself. You are going to have to engage me in close combat. It was then that Yori noticed the Sharingan. What? How does he have the Sharingan activated? He shouldn't be able to without the curse mark flaring up. Apparently Orochimaru never mentioned that he had failed to give Sasuke the curse mark, thanks to the demon-powered Naruto. Sasuke hated to admit it, but he owed Naruto big time for saving him back there. Yori knew he was in trouble if Sasuke could use his Sharingan. He made a desperate attempt to end the fight by charging at Sasuke with his jutsu active. Suddenly, he felt a foot make contact with the bottom of his knocking him into the air. Copying Lee's technique, Sasuke appeared behind Yori in his shadow. Sasuke kicked Yori a few times, making him fall faster towards the ground with each blow. Finally, Sasuke flipped around so that he was on top of Yori and drove his knee into his opponent's gut as Yori and the ground met. Lion's Barrage. Sasuke called out as his final strike knocked Yori unconscious and out of the exam. Sasuke. You may have avoided me in the forest, but you will become mine soon enough, Orochimaru said, disguised as the Sound Team's sensei. However, I need to make sure that next time the demon brat won't be in my way. Kakashi appeared next to the Hokage and Anko. I looked at Sasuke's neck before the match and there doesn't appear to be a curse mark. I'm going to take him for a further examination to be sure, but it appears that Sasuke has avoided that fate for the time being. Anko looked at Kakashi out of surprise and the Hokage nodded in agreement. Winner, Sasuke Uchiha, Hayate announced as medics came to collect Yori. Kakashi went to meet Sasuke. Come with me, the Hokage just wants to be sure, he said to Sasuke as the Uchiha victor followed him out of the room. Where's Sasuke going? Sakura asked out of curiosity. Naruto and Haku shrugged. Next match, Choji Akamaiki vs Dosu Kinta, Hayate announced. Choji stepped forward, revealing some of his nerves to his opponent. Hey, I have to fight this nervous fatty. Dosu taunted his opponent. What did you just say? Choji growled in anger. Dosu had just said the taboo word for Choji. I am not fat. Human boulder. Choji did one of his family's jutsu, inflating himself into a large ball and rolling at high speeds towards Dosu. Dosu sidestepped Choji as the human boulder slammed into the wall. Wanting to end it quick, Dosu revealed some apparatus on his forearm and slammed it into Choji. With a flick of his finger, he sent a shockwave of sound through Choji's body, effectively knocking him out. Winner, Dosu Kinta, Hayate announced as Team 10 let their spirits drop. Next match, Haku Yuki vs Tenten. This will be an interesting fight, Tenten said as she faced Haku. The battle between the weapons expert and Senbon specialist was about to begin. Hayate announced as Tenten took a step backwards, throwing a few shuriken to test the waters. Haku quickly knocked them out of the way with his Senbon and sent a few more towards Tenten, who dodged them rather easily. You're not going to beat me with Senbon. I know about all types of weapons and yours is not powerful enough. Tenten stated. Tenten, show him the power of your youth. Lee said, cheering for his teammates from the stands. Not caring about anyone else's ears, Lee did so, deafening anyone standing within 10 feet of him. Lee, cheer harder. Guy instructed. Yes, Guy sensei. I will pour all of my youth into this cheer, shouted Lee. Now, no one was safe from Lee's shouts. This match is practically over, Sasuke said, returning to the stands. Is Kakashi sensei with you? Naruto asked. No, he stayed behind, saying he had something to check up on, typical. Sasuke shrugged. Hehe, long time no see, Kakashi, the sound sensei said to Kakashi. You should consider your student lucky. However, he won't escape me next time. Orochimaru, Kakashi growled out. Why are you here? Why are you after Sasuke? Hey, you're lucky. You've already got your hands on it, Orochimaru hissed. Kakashi realized what Orochimaru was referring to. Yes, it's the Sharingan. Just like the one in your left eye. I want it. What are your goals? Kakashi said, trying to squeeze as much out of the snake before it slithered away. The newly created Sound Village, that's my village. You should be able to figure out just from that, Orochimaru said. For that purpose, I need a lot of pieces. Kakashi activated his Reikiri, ready to take down Orochimaru if he must. However, Orochimaru just turned and left into the darkness. I will get my hands on Sasuke and there is nothing you can do to stop me. Orochimaru let out a sinister laugh as he faded from view. What do you mean over? Lee shouted at Sasuke. Tenten's youthful powers far succeed your teammates. Just watch the match and you'll see, Sasuke said as everyone turned their attention back to the match. Tenten and Haku were engaged in an equal battle of throwing weapons at one another. Realizing that she needed something different, Tenten took out the 2 scrolls on her side. Ninja Art. Twin Rising Dragons. Suddenly, the 2 scrolls unfurled and rose into the air. Tenten jumped up and began summoning weapons, bombarding Haku with a rain of sharp pointy objects. With her attack finished, Tenten landed on the ground to see the results. All she saw was Haku encased in a dome of ice. What? Most of the people in the stands said. Team 7 didn't look so surprised. Guy sensei, what is up with that ice surrounding Haku? Lee asked. Everyone else was shocked by Haku's mysterious ability. Like I said, this match is over, Sasuke repeated himself. Haku has a rare blood limit called the Hyoten. Watch a little more and you shall see its true powers. Hyoten. Demonic ice mirrors. Haku said as a dome of ice mirrors formed around Tenten. Tenten. Lee shouted out as the rest of Team Guy looked on at Haku's abilities. Please surrender now. I do not wish to harm you, Haku said, his reflection appearing in every mirror. Ha, like you could keep me trapped in here as mere ice. Tenten replied. She threw a few kunai with explosive tags at one of the mirrors, only for it to be unfazed, much to her surprise. Haku went on the offensive, hitting the joints on her arms and legs with Senbon, effectively immobilizing Tenten. What did you do? I can't move, she called out as she collapsed to the ground. I hit the nerve clusters in your arms and legs. You won't be able to move them for about an hour, but I made sure not to damage them. You should be able to regain full control after some rest, Haku explained. Neji looked on in shock at the skills Haku possessed. The boy's precision appeared to rival even his own. The proctor took a look at Tenten and she noted that what Haku said was correct. Alright, I declare Haku Yuki the winner. Next up, Ino Yamanaka vs Sakura Haruno. Everyone in the stands braced for the cat fight of the century. Chapter 14. Preliminaries. The Leaf Kunoichi Blossom. Next match. Ino Yamanaka vs Sakura Haruno, Hayate announced. The 2 shocked Kunoichi proceeded to the floor. I never thought that I would have to fight you, Sakura, Ino said to her opponent. To Ino's surprise, Sakura removed her headband that she had been using to hold back her hair, and tied it properly around her forehead. Those 2. This could get troublesome, Shikamaru sighed, leaning on the railing. It may not look like it, but Ino is an exceptional shinobi, Asuma thought about his student. But will she be able to go all out against Sakura? Flashback. As a female ninja, we must not only be skilled in the arts of the shinobi, but also culture and knowledge, an academy instructor lectured. If you cannot sneak into enemy territory and act as a normal woman, then being a spy will be pointless. Today's lesson will be flower arrangement, now go and pick some flowers. The little girls ran off to complete their assignment. Ino, wait up, a little Sakura said, calling out for her friend. Before reaching a small Ino, she tripped and fell to the ground. I'm bad at this stuff, how about you? Sakura asked her friend. What? Ino asked, trying to see if Sakura was serious. But you're named after a flower. Hehe, there is a trick to this. What? Really? Sakura said. Yeah. What you do is find a main flower, and then find smaller flowers that complement it, Ino explained. Look over there. Ino pointed at a few flowers. If this, cosmos, is the main flower, then you can use that, Fujibakama, as a complement. Like the sakura flower in the spring, the cosmos flower is the most beautiful flower in the fall. And in flower language, it means harmony as it goes along great with any other autumn flower. Ino then held the flower up to her head and gave a cute smile. Look. Does this go as nice with me as it does the cosmos? Aren't I a cutie? Why? Yeah, Sakura responded. What was with that pause? Ino asked. Suddenly 3 larger girls appeared behind Sakura. Well, if it isn't Miss Gigantic Forehead, their leader said. Trying to make yourself look better recently. Who do you think you are? Ino then proceeded to deck the girl upside the head, sending her flying back and leaving a few flowers sticking out of her mouth. I'm sorry, I must have mistaken that opening for a vase, Ino said as the rest of the girls' group gathered around their unconscious leader. It may be weak, but that flower is poisonous. You had better spit it out. With that, the 3 older girls were running away from Ino. Ino is so incredible. She's so smart and fashionable and cute. And her ninjutsu skills are great as well, Sakura thought. But compared to her, I'm just. Sakura looked down at the flowers she was holding and got a saddened look on her face. If Ino is a cosmos, then I'm just a Fujibakama, Sakura said quietly, although Ino picked up on what she was saying. What are you talking about? If you ask me, you aren't even a flower, you are a bud, Ino said, only worsening Sakura's depression. End flashback. Right now, I have no intention of fighting you over Sasuke, Sakura said, facing her opponent as she recalled some of her childhood memories with Ino. What? Ino shouted out. You and Sasuke don't even go together, Sakura stated. Plus I am stronger than you. I don't even have to worry about you. Sakura, who the hell do you think you are? Ino replied. Don't get ahead of yourself, cry baby Sakura. What are they doing? Naruto asked Kakashi. Well, it looks like Sakura doesn't want Ino to not take her seriously or show her mercy, Kakashi explained. Flashback. Hey Ino, why did you give me the ribbon? Sakura asked, sitting next to her friend. Hehe. That's because it would be a waste if you ended up as a bud, Ino said. A flower is meaningless unless it blooms, right? And it could grow into an even more beautiful flower. Thank you, Ino, Sakura said to herself as the two went off to pick some more flowers. End flashback. I have always believed those words that you told me, Sakura said to her opponent and rival. I had always believed them to be true. I wanted to be like you. You were my goal. Thanks to you I am here now. That's why, Ino, I want this to be an all-out fight. Unless I really surpass you, it's meaningless. Why are they acting like that? Naruto said, hoping they would get to the fight. He doesn't even understand. He's the same way with Sasuke, Kakashi thought, looking over to Sasuke, who was also starting to get a little impatient at the talking. On the floor, Ino moved her headband from her waist to her forehead, indicating that she acknowledged Sakura as an opponent. The fight was ready to begin. Sakura ran at Ino, creating 3 clones in the process. Ino saw right through them, but Sakura had just focused all of her chakra to her feet, causing her to lunge at Ino with increased speed. Her fist made contact with Ino, sending her back. Wow! Sakura rules! Naruto shouted out. Her basic chakra control is perfect, even for a rookie, Kakashi said. In that respect, she's even better than you and Sasuke. This caught both of their attention as Kakashi tried to redirect it back to the fight. Wow! Sakura is even more beautiful now than she ever was. Lee thought to himself. Sakura and Ino both engaged one another, then backing off to throw shuriken at each other. Their shuriken hit one another, canceling the attack completely. But her opponent did great too. This could be a long match. Since when did she become so strong? Ino thought. I can do this. Sakura thought. Both of their fists collided with each other's face, sending them both to the ground. By this point in time, the battle had gone on over 10 minutes and even the proctor was starting to get impatient. There's no way you could be even with me. Ino shouted. Of course, how could I be even with someone who only worries about growing her hair? Sakura replied. Like Sakura had done back in the forest, Ino took a knife and cut her long ponytail off, much to her team's surprise. She then threw the cut hair on the ground, scattering it over. Yikes. Shikamaru said. She's snapped. I'm going to end this right now. I'm going to make. I give up. Come directly from your mouth, Ino said, making her family's signature hand seal. I understand your desperation, but that is useless, seeing as all I have to do is avoid it, which will be easy, Sakura said. You then wouldn't be able to return to your body for a few minutes and Hayate would be forced to call the fight. Sakura prepared to run, only to get tangled in Ino's hair that lined the ground. Ninja art. Mind transfer jutsu. Ino called out as her body went limp. At the same time, so did Sakura's. Wait, which one is it? Shikamaru called out, not sure if her jutsu hit. Too bad, Sakura, Ino said, from Sakura's body. Sakura. Both Lee and Naruto called out. Now's your chance, finish Ino off. Idiots, it's useless now, Shikamaru explained. Ino transferred her mind into Sakura. She's now in control of Sakura. Proctor, I Sakura Haruno, would like to. Ino, Sakura said. Sakura don't do it. Naruto shouted out. If you lose to that Sasuke fangirl, you're not a woman. Damn, he's so annoying, Ino thought. Suddenly, Ino felt something inside Sakura's head, like Sakura was fighting back for control. She clutched her head. Inside Sakura's head, the inner Sakura began beating up Ino, forcing her out of Sakura's body. 2. Minds. What are you? Ino said with her own voice again. Hey, don't you know women have to be tough to survive? Sakura said, finally regaining control of herself. Once you are caught by that jutsu, it's difficult to repel, Kakashi thought. But, what if Naruto's cheering awakened her inner desire to beat Ino and that's what gave her the strength? Maybe she's not so weak after all, Sasuke said to himself. With one last burst of energy, the two kunoichi charged at each other, their punches making contact with each other's faces. The two fell to the ground unconscious. Their Jonin senseis went to the floor to collect the unconscious girls as Hayate announced a double knockout. Man, that was troublesome. I hope I don't have to face a girl, Shikamaru said, receiving some glares from Tenten and Kurenai. Next match. Hinata Hoiga vs Kankuro, the board announced. Hey, a little leaf brat, this will be easy, Kankuro thought to himself. Hinata recalled the encounter in the forest with the sand ninja. She began to tremble a little. Although he had not been the one she was afraid of at that time, he couldn't be much better. Neji then turned to Hinata. You should just give up, he said to her as she receded even more into herself. He had also managed to catch Naruto's attention. You are too weak to face him. I can tell just from looking at you. What the hell are you talking about, Neji? Naruto shouted at Neji, ready to knock him out. I am only speaking the truth, Neji said. Neji Nizan. Hinata looked at her cousin. Nizan. Most of the people responded, looking to Kakashi for answers. Neji and Hinata aren't necessarily siblings, more like cousins. They belong to the Hoiga clan, one of the most prestigious families in Konoha, Kakashi explained. Hinata is a member of the main family while Neji is a member of the branch family. However, things have happened over the years, distancing the branches and Neji is only searching for some form of weakness in Hinata. Hinata, I will say it again. You are not a good shinobi. You should just forfeit. You don't want to dishonor the clan, do you? Dishonor the main branch. Neji taunted as Naruto's blood began to boil. Hinata. Don't listen to this ass. He shouted out, waking Ino and Sakura. Even now, I can feel your sense of inferiority. You cannot win and you will only dishonor yourself and the main branch, now you don't want to do that. Oh wait, you already have. You cannot change and you will continue to be weak. Neji's words had a harsh sting to them as Hinata walked down the stairs to face her opponent. I wanted to change myself. But, is it true that I cannot? She said to herself. She remembered the training sessions with her father and how he would always degrade her. Eventually, he shoved her aside for her sister, Hanabi. Hinata, Neji had one more thing to say to her before her match began. People cannot change themselves. I thought of you as a spoiled member of the main family, but the truth is that you are just an embarrassment. This really got Naruto's blood boiling as Kurama was debating whether or not to let a little of his chakra seep through the seal. He also wanted to shut this cynical man up badly. Hinata, I can see with my Byakugan that you do not want to fight. Deep down, you just want to run away and hide, Neji taunted more. Kankuro just smirked. This sibling rivalry was doing his work for him. Byakugan? Sakura asked, directing her question to Kakashi. Kakashi answered her question, it's the advanced bloodline of the Hyuga. Kind of like Sasuke's Sharingan being the advanced bloodline of the Uchiha, although it surpasses the Sharingan in terms of visual insight alone. Neji glared at her from the balcony, activating his Byakugan. He wasn't going to pass up this chance to embarrass and taunt a member of the main family. His only regret was that he wasn't the one facing her. I can see you imagining your defeat, Neji said. You cannot change that. You cannot change yourself. Hinata. You can. Naruto shouted out, having enough of Neji's bullshit. He has no right to tell you what you are and aren't. Now kick this sand guy's ass and stick it to Neji bastard's face. I believe you can do it. Naruto is cheering for me. Hinata thought to herself. He thinks I can win. UHG, he really is annoying, Neji thought. Naruto, thank you, Hinata though as her doubts suddenly disappeared. Kankuro noticed this as well. Hey, looks like this brat wants to play, Kankuro smirked. Byakugan. Hinata said, activating her blood limit. Thank you Naruto. I will show you that I can change. Begin. Hayate announced. Hinata made the first move, charging at Kankuro, who was just standing there. She had her Byakugan locked onto him, but noticed that something was off. The chakra inside Kankuro was not normal. In fact, there was no chakra source inside him, only chakra lines that seemed to go to that bundle on his back. She took a gamble and decided to attack the bundle instead of Kankuro. After a few first strikes, Kankuro retreated as the bundle unfurled itself to reveal another Kankuro. Damn, he said. How did she notice that? Up in the stands, everyone looked on in shock. What just happened? Sakura asked. Neji remained silent, but Lee spoke up. One of the specialties of the Byakugan is that it allows the user to see their opponent's chakra network, Lee said as Neji let out slight grin. She must have seen something that caused her to attack the bundle instead of Kankuro. Fine, I'll play, Kankuro said, as the first Kankuro's skin began to peel away, revealing a puppet. He felt a slight pain in his shoulder, but shrugged it off. She charged at him again, only to be intercepted by the puppet, which was slashing at her with its blades. Thankfully, she managed to dodge. This dance between her and the puppet went on for a few minutes before Hinata noticed something. It was another puppet. Kankuro thought that he had her, but she dodged just in time. How? I thought I was in her blind spot, there should have been no way she saw me. Up in the stands, Naruto smiled. Hinata was doing great and Neji had turned his back on the fight. How did she see that? Even I think that should have gotten her, Sasuke questioned. Yes, but the Byakugan gives her the ability to see in a 360-degree arc around her, Lee explained. Wow, you know a lot about the Byakugan, Lee, Naruto explained. Yes, when your rival is also from the Hyuga clan, you must know about their abilities. It's just like Gai-sensei and the Sharingan, Lee explained. Hinata was now facing two puppets and Kankuro. She had to do something quick as she was rapidly losing stamina. Focusing her Byakugan on Kankuro, she saw thin chakra threads coming out of his hands and attaching to the puppets. Deciding to go for it, she made a dash for one of the puppets, lashing out at the threads. She managed to sever 3 of the threads on one of the puppets, however, the other puppet landed a blow, creating a deep, but not life-threatening gash in her left arm and side. Hinata. Naruto shouted from the stands, becoming increasingly concerned for her. You see now, she will not win this, Neji said as the puppets landed another blow on her, sending her back into the wall and leaving a medium-sized puncture wound in her right side. Bah! Shut up, Neji. What do you know? Naruto said. More than you think. Neji said, getting Naruto's attention. Although she may be the heir of the main house, she is weak. Her father even pushed her aside to train her younger sister, who is a much better candidate to lead the clan. If she doesn't prove herself to her father by her 16th birthday, he will officially instate Hanabi as the clan heir and she will be forced into a branch family, like me. That is her destiny and she must accept it. What sort of bullshit are you talking about? What does destiny have to do with this? Naruto asked. What do you mean by main and branch families? Sakura asked. Neji remained silent, but Lee spoke up. The Hoiga clan is composed of a main family that runs the clan. Hinata is a member of the main family. Neji, on the other hand, is a member of the branch family, Lee explained as Neji remained silent. However, from what I understand, the main family has made special rules in favor of themselves and subjugating the branch families. Unfortunately, that has begun to create a rift in the family. Their attention turned back to the fight. Hinata was trying desperately to evade the attacks, although she was beginning to tire. If something didn't happen soon, this fight would be over. Hinata. Naruto shouted again. Don't let these guys put you down. You're stronger than that. Does he really believe that? She thought to herself. She then thought back to the rest of the exam as Naruto had done nothing but support her the entire way. The least she could do right now was not to let him down. She began calling on the last reserves of her energy and made a dart towards the puppets. Demonstrating chakra control that could rival Sakura, she increased her speed, flying past the puppets and towards Kankuro. Hinata landed 2 strikes on Kankuro's wrist, causing him to lose the ability to use chakra with his hands and also causing the chakra threads controlling his puppets to disappear. 2 more strikes to the body caused his sides to go numb. Hinata made one last strike, aimed for his chest. After the final burst of chakra penetrated Kankuro, she disengaged, waiting to see the result of her attack. Kankuro began coughing up blood, as her attack had managed to slightly damage the muscles around his heart. He collapsed to the ground, defeated. Winner. Hinata Hoiga. Hayate announced. Yeah. You did it, Hinata. Naruto said, jumping down to give her a big hug. Hinata began to turn red, although it was not because of Naruto. As Naruto let go of her, wondering what was wrong, she fell to her knees, panting heavily. Hinata. Kurenai said. She checked the girl's temperatures and heart rate quickly, determining them to be elevated. Those weapons. Poison. We need a medic over here quick. I think she's been poisoned. 2 medical ninja came over and placed her on a stretcher. It looks like it's poison, one of them said, repeating exactly what Kurenai had just said. Naruto looked down at Hinata on the stretcher. Naruto, do you think I changed? She asked weakly, letting out a non-poison-induced blush. Did I show I can be strong? Naruto smiled. Yeah, you were great, Hinata, the blonde said as the 2 medics carried her off to treat her wounds and poison. Naruto sent a glare up to Neji, basically saying, I told you she could do it. Neji just shrugged it off. Yep. Girls can definitely be troublesome, Shikamaru said, looking up at the scoreboard. Damn. Next match. Shikamaru Nara vs Kintsuchi, the board read. He can control the shadows, watch out for that, Kin's teammate Zaku said to her. The 2 competitors proceeded to the floor. Man, this is troublesome. I didn't want to have to fight a girl, Shikamaru said. Don't worry, I'll make it quick, Kin said. Begin. Hayate announced. I saw Dosu's ability, but I don't know what hers are, Shikamaru said. Oh well, shadow possession jutsu. His shadow expanded out, towards Kin. She dodged his attack, flinging a few Senbon towards her. Shikamaru dodged. Clink. Bells attached to the Senbon made, as they caught Shikamaru's attention. Hey. I know the trick. Next you'll throw one with a bell on it and one without a bell. My attention will be drawn to the bell, and you'll get me with the other needle, Shikamaru said, analyzing her strategy. I just need to avoid those needles, clink. What? Behind. Shikamaru said, turning around to see the same bells making the sound. String. Suddenly, Shikamaru saw Kin throwing 2 needles towards him. He couldn't dodge these, so he had to block. Kin was about ready to throw a few more needles into Shikamaru, but found herself unable to move. What? She said. Hey, shadow possession jutsu is finally a success, Shikamaru said, analyzing Kin's facial expression. You haven't noticed it yet. A string at that height doesn't make a shadow. Kin looked down to see two shadows coming off of her string and connecting to her shadow. I can change the shape of my shadow. So I made it real skinny to make it look like the shadow of your string. Shikamaru then pulled a shuriken out and aimed it at Kin. Because of the jutsu, she did the same thing to him. Are you crazy? She called out. If you attack, we will both get hurt. I know, Shikamaru said. We'll just keep throwing shuriken to see how long we last. As the shuriken got really close to the competitor's face, Shikamaru quickly bent backwards to dodge it, causing Kin to do the same. However, she slammed her head on the wall behind her, knocking her unconscious. Hey, one down, Shikamaru said, returning to an upright position. If you're a shinobi, then you have to fight with knowledge of your surroundings. The distance to the wall behind you is what got you. I used the shuriken to keep you from noticing how close you were to it. Winner, Shikamaru. Hayate announced. Yeah, Shikamaru. Ino cheered out. Kurenai returned to the stands. How is she? Naruto asked, concerned for Hinata. She'll be fine. Thankfully the poison was a common type and they had the antidote here in the tower. They are just stitching her wounds up and she might even make it back to watch the final fights, Kurenai explained. Alright. It's good that Hinata will be alright, and even better that she won, Kiba said quietly. Now, that leaves me, Shino, Naruto, Neji, Lee, those two sand ninja, all three Kumo ninja, that one green-haired waterfall ninja and her teammate. Naruto turned back to the arena to see the next match up. Yeah. About time. Naruto said. Akamaru. We got so lucky. Kiba said. Next match. Kiba Inuzuka vs Naruto Uzumaki, Hayate announced. Chapter 15. Prelims. The battles of the Jinchuriki. Naruto and Kiba stepped to the floor. Yeah, Akamaru. It's like we have already won, Kiba cheered. Shut the hell up. And don't bring your puppy here. He'll only get in the way, Naruto responded. Idiot, Akamaru's fighting with me, Kiba explained. Is that even allowed? Naruto asked the proctor. Yes, animals and insects are the same as ninja tools. They are allowed, Hayate explained. HMPH. Fine, you need the help anyways, Naruto said. Akamaru, you stay out of this. I can take Naruto on my own, Kiba said. Naruto. Don't lose to him. Sakura called out, returning the favor for him cheering for her. Sorry Kakashi, but he can't beat Kiba, Kurenai thought. I feel bad for you, so I'll end it with one punch, Kiba said, remembering Naruto's failures back in the academy. Ah, is that so? Then Mita, Naruto responded. Stop acting tough, Kiba said. Hehe, this will be fun. I never was a fan of dogs anyways, Kurama told Naruto. Wait, are you going to help me? Naruto asked the fox. Not physically. There are too many people here and you can beat him without me. I do know a trick or two that will help though. I'll tell you when the time is right. Naruto let out a little smirk. Begin. Hayate announced. Beast Mimicry Jutsu. Kiba called out as he began to grow claws and his appearance began slightly more canine in appearance. He charged at Naruto with unbelievable speed, sending Naruto flying back. Proctor, he won't be opening his eyes for a little. Naruto. Ino and Choji thought from the stands. Choji had finally recovered from his battle with the sound ninja, although his hearing was still a little shaky. Sakura glanced over at Kakashi and Sasuke, who gave her a smile, reassuring her that Naruto wouldn't be defeated so easily. Both Sakura and Sasuke knew Naruto could easily beat Kiba if he tapped into the Kyuubi's chakra. However, with the Hokage and a bunch of high-ranking ninja present, only an idiot would do that. Though, in their eyes, Naruto was an idiot. Kiba, never underestimate me. Naruto said, standing up. Naruto. Sakura called out. Although she normally wouldn't be so enthusiastic about Naruto, she wanted her teammate to win, plus she owed him for helping her face Ino. As for Sasuke, he wanted Naruto to win so that he might get a chance to fight him in the final round. Yosh, now that's the power of youth. Lee called out as Guy nodded in agreement. Saying that as you bleed. I said to stop acting tough. Kiba shouted out. Akamaru just barked along with Kiba. I let you hit me, to test your strength, Naruto said. I'm going to need to teach him how to do that without getting beat to a bloody pulp, Kakashi said, thinking of Naruto's specialty jutsu. You should stop acting tough too. Use your dog, I'll beat both of you, Naruto grinned, wiping the blood off his mouth. Grr, you'll regret that. Let's go, Akamaru. Kiba commanded as the two charged at Naruto. He threw a few smoke balls, making Naruto unable to see. As Naruto exited the cloud, Akamaru latched onto Naruto's arm. Yeah, way to go, Akamaru. Kiba said as he saw Akamaru sitting next to an unconscious Naruto. Naruto. Sakura called out. Akamaru returned to Kiba, but ended up biting his master's hand, surprising everyone. Hey, Akamaru. Kiba questioned, wondering why his best friend would suddenly do that to him. Grr, you fell for it, Akamaru said, disappearing in a puff of smoke, revealing that Naruto had used a transformation jutsu. The unconscious Naruto stood up, holding an immobilized and whining Akamaru. No, that can't be Naruto. He managed to combine a transformation jutsu and a shadow clone. Shikamaru said, shocked at Naruto's surprisingly clever plan. HMPH, so. You've gotten a little stronger. Well, that doesn't matter. Time to get serious now, Kiba said, tossing a food pill to Akamaru. Suddenly, Akamaru's fur turned red and became a bit wilder. The re-energized Akamaru kicked the shadow clone, dispelling it and freeing himself. Let's go, Akamaru. Beast clone Justu. Akamaru jumped onto Kiba's back and turned into a copy of Kiba. Their face had a feral appearance, similar to when Naruto was using Kyuubi chakra. Both of the Kibas charged at Naruto with great speed. Naruto was only just able to dodge it, by jumping in the air. Now. Fang over Fang. Kiba called out as he and Akamaru spun rapidly towards Naruto. Naruto landed, coughing up a bit of blood in the process. That's the difference in our abilities, Kiba said. I can't lose here. I will become Hokage. Naruto exclaimed, forcing himself to his feet. Kiba laughed. You become Hokage. You're even weaker than me. If you want to become Hokage, then I'll become Hokage. Kiba mocked Naruto's dream, big mistake. Now was time for Naruto to use his new jutsu. He flung a small amount of shuriken at Kiba, who just laughed at Naruto's desperation. Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu. Naruto called out as those few shuriken turned into nearly 100. Thanks to his speed, Kiba was able to dodge most of them, but he and Akamaru still got hit by a few. Fortunately for them, their wounds were only scratches. Where did he learn that? Asuma said, turning to a smiling Kakashi and Team 7. I might have showed them a thing or two, Kakashi replied. But that's an A-rank technique, Asuma replied. It may be, but it not when you can already use shadow clones. Because Naruto could use the shadow clone jutsu, it was AC, maybe a low B rank in terms of difficulty to learn. Although he's still a long way from mastering it, as the Hokage can create roughly 1,000 shuriken clones, Kakashi explained. If he taught Naruto the technique, then I wonder what he taught the rest of his team, Asuma thought. Kit, the key to defeating dogs like this is to use their nose against them, Kurama explained, finally giving Naruto that advice he promised. Naruto knew what the fox was referring to and reached into his pouch to pull out 2 yellow smoke bombs. Please tell me those aren't. Kakashi thought, picking up on what Naruto was trying to hide. Kiba and Akamaru charged at Naruto, hoping to pay him back for those shuriken. As they got close, Naruto took a deep breath and threw the smoke balls on the ground. Gah! Screamed Kiba. Both he and Akamaru, who had transformed back, were clutching their noses. Everyone's sweat dropped in the stands as Kakashi just let out a slight laugh. They don't call him the #1 unpredictable ninja for nothing, Kakashi said. Both Sasuke and Shikamaru had to admit that what Naruto just did was rather effective. Given that he's a prankster, I've been wondering if Naruto carried any stink bombs on him. Right now, Kiba's sense of smell is 1000x more powerful than a human, Kurenai thought, actually impressed at what Naruto had done. Kiba and Akamaru were both rolling in pain, as Naruto's stink bombs ravaged their super-sensitive sense of smell. Naruto created 2 shadow clones to restrain Akamaru this time. He then created 4 more to knock Kiba into the air. Uzumaki, the 4 clones called out as they sent Kiba into the air. The real Naruto then jumped above Kiba, kicking his head and slamming him into the ground. Barrage. Naruto called out. He took that move from Sasuke, Kakashi thought, looking over at Sasuke, who let out a smirk. Winner. Naruto Uzumaki. Hayate called out. Hee hee. Yeah, I won. Naruto started cheering. At that time, Hinata re-entered the room and saw Kiba lying on the ground and Naruto celebrating. She came to the conclusion that Naruto and Kiba just had a match and that Naruto had emerged victorious. While she was happy that Naruto had won, she was sad that Kiba lost. Upon seeing her re-enter the room, Naruto ran over to Hinata, hugging her and celebrating. This time she fainted, much to Naruto's confusion. Kurenai came over and picked her up and carried her up to the balcony. Is she going to be okay, Kurenai-sensei? Naruto asked. Yeah, she's just tired, that's all, Kurenai responded, letting out a slight chuckle, as they proceeded back the stands. He still doesn't get it. Naruto. That was an excellent display of youth. Lee shouted. I only hope my match is next so I can show everyone my youthful powers. Guy looked at his student and gave Lee his nice guy pose, creeping out most of the people who saw that. Next match, Shino Aburame vs. Fu of the Waterfall. Hayate announced. Darn, I'll never get to go, Lee said as his spirits deflated. No worries Lee, you will get your chance, Guy said, reassuring his student. Alright Shino, go kick some butt. Naruto shouted out. No one could understand how Naruto had even more energy after fighting, but this was Naruto. Shino and Fu faced each other and the proctor announced to begin. Shino started by unleashing a few of his insects on Fu, testing out the waters of the battle. However, Fu's response was completely different than he had expected. BBB bugs. Fu said, putting Hinata's stuttering to shame. Yes, bugs, Shino responded, almost insulted by Fu's calling his insects bugs. I am an Aburame and my family lives in symbiosis with these bugs. As Shino's insects crept closer, Fu backed away, almost as if she was afraid of them. Images began to flash through her mind, causing her to cower against the wall in fear. What's going on? Shikamaru asked, confused by Fu's reaction. It looks like she has a severe case of entomophobia, Kurenai said. Entomophobia? Naruto asked, spelling out the word. Sakura sighed. It means fear of insects, you idiot, Sakura responded. Get them away from me. Fu called out as Shino's insects crept closer. Do you forfeit then? He asked. Fu, remember the task the elder gave to us. Fu's teammate called out. Her memories came to her. Flashback, for the past decade, our village has been seen as weak. The only reason we haven't been attacked is because of our secret location, a village elder said to Fu and her team. However, for the first time in years, we finally have ninja who are ready to compete in Konoha's Chunin exams. Please go and show that our village is still strong. We won't disappoint you, Shibiki-sama, the three waterfall ninjas said, bowing to their leader. End flashback. Fu, realizing what she promised, decided that today was the day to get over her fears. She stood up and faced Shino, indicating that she would not surrender. However, it was too late as Shino's bugs swarmed her, sucking her chakra, and Fu's screams resumed. Fu's teammate looked on with sadness at what his teammate was enduring. Suddenly, Shino's insects were repelled with a violent blast of chakra and Fu was on the floor crying out in pain. To everyone's horror, red chakra began to bubble around her. Every high-ranking ninja rushed to her. I'm sorry, but I must do this for the safety of the ninja here, the Hokage said. Five-pronged seal, he said, slamming his fingers into Fu's stomach. The red chakra receded, but everyone's expressions did not. Fu dropped to the ground unconscious. Hokage-sama, Shino asked. What was that? Why did you interfere with my fight? It is something I cannot talk about right now, Shino. However, I declare you the victor of this match, the Hokage said. Just know that I had to do so for everyone's safety. Sakura and Sasuke turned their shocked expressions towards Naruto. Naruto. Are you alright? Sakura asked, seeing the same look in his eyes that they say back in the forest when Naruto told them his little secret. Yeah, just shocked that's all, Naruto said back to them. He then turned to Yugito, who shared the same expression of pain and sadness that Naruto had just displayed. Both of them looked up at Gaara, only to feel his desire to kill someone now. Whoever was matched up against him had better be ready for a fight to the death. Kurama. Naruto said to the fox. Yeah, I saw and felt it Kit. She's one of us. Based on the chakra cloak, I would assume that Chome, the Nanabi, is sealed within her. However, for some reason, that appears to have manifested into a strong fear of bugs, the demon fox replied. Shikamaru noticed that Naruto's expression was different from everyone else. Naruto, do you know what's going on? The lazy genius said. No, Naruto lied, not wanting to reveal everything right there in front of everyone. Shikamaru just shrugged it off, not wanting to put in the extra effort to question Naruto some more. Kakashi at the same time looked at Naruto and even some of the reactions from his team. He knows. And based on the rest of the team's reactions, I suspect they are aware as well. I wonder what happened, Kakashi thought, knowing he would have to talk to his team once this was over. Trying to move on, Hayate quickly announced the next match. Yugito Ni vs Takaru Rigito. Yugito and the remaining waterfall ninja stepped forward. Yugito took a look at Takaru, who was still shaken by the previous event. She knew the easy way to win this would be to let a bit of her demon chakra flare, as she and the Nibi were on friendly terms with one another, but even Ibiki and Anko would see that as cruel. Begin. Hayate called out. Kaiten. Flaming Hellcats. Yugito said as she unleashed two tiger-sized flaming cats on her opponent. Sushin. Water Wave. The still shaking Taigakuru ninja called out, just getting the attack off in time, dousing the flaming cats. Despite being at an elemental disadvantage, Yugito could see her opponent faulting with his moves. All she had to do was keep the pressure up and he would eventually slip. After a few minutes of battering the waterfall ninja, Yugito unleashed her final attack. Fiery claws, she said, swiping at her opponent with a flaming cat-like claw and sending him back against the wall with severe burns to his torso and arms. Winner. Yugito Ni. Hayate announced. Her team cheered and Team 7 even joined in a little. Lee, now it will be your turn for sure. Guy shouted. No. Lee replied, much to everyone's surprise. It's come this far, so I might as well go last. Everyone looked at the scoreboard in anticipation for the next match. Gaara disappeared in a whirl of sand, appearing on the floor. Get down here, he said, sending a death glare towards the Konoha ninja. Next match. Gaara vs Rock Lee. Hayate called out. Everyone, especially Team 7 was shocked at the matchup, and some of the other Konoha ninja saw their faces. Yash. It fell for it. Lee exclaimed. If you don't want to go last, then say that you do want to go last. Guy sent him a thumb up as he saw Team 7's worried faces. Haha, do not worry. Lee will win this for sure, Guy said. Kakashi tapped Sasuke on the shoulder. Activate your Sharingan and watch the fight with that. Sasuke instantly knew why Kakashi wanted him to do that. Lee jumped down to face Gaara. To be able to face you this early, I could not be happier. Lee said. The cork in Gaara's gourd shot towards Lee, only to be caught. Now don't get antsy. Begin. Hayate announced. Lee, be careful, Guy thought observing the match. Spinning leaf whirlwind. Lee shouted, launching a sweeping kick at Gaara's head. The sand around Gaara blocked it, much to Lee's surprise. The sand then lashed out at Lee, who flipped backwards to avoid it. Lee attacked again, only to be blocked by the sand. Kankuro arrived next to Naruto, having been released from the medics after his loss to the little leaf brat. Hey, physical attacks are useless against Gaara. Regardless of Gaara's will, the sand acts on its own to protect Gaara. That's why, up until now, no one has ever been able to put a single scratch on him. Naruto was shocked upon hearing those words. Guy-sensei, why is Lee only using taijutsu attacks at close range? Sakura asked, observing the battle. Why doesn't he just use ninjutsu? It's not that he doesn't use ninjutsu, Guy explained. It's that he can't use ninjutsu. What? Team 7 said in unison, although Sasuke was silent, his attention on Lee and the match. Lee has no skill for ninjutsu or genjutsu. In fact, he can't even conjure a single clone, Guy explained. But how did he get so far? Sakura asked. When I met him, he was a complete failure. The only techniques available to him were taijutsu. That's why he can win. Guy said, turning his attention to Lee. Lee, take them off. But Guy-sensei, that's only for a time. I must protect my precious people, Lee said. It's alright. I'll allow it this once, Guy said. A smile quickly worked its way onto Lee's face as he sat down to reveal a set of training weights underneath his leg warmers. PFFT, there is no way some measly weights will make a difference against Gaara, Tamari and Kankuro thought. Ah, much better. Now I can move free, Lee said, dropping the weights from the top of the statue in the room. Boom was heard when the weights made contact with the floor, creating large craters in the floor, startling everyone, and waking up poor Hinata. Everyone had to pick their jaws up off the floor. Isn't that a bit much, Guy? Kakashi said to the blue beast of Konoha. Hee, Guy said, letting out a smile. Go Lee. Yes. Lee exclaimed, taking off with unimaginable speed. He appeared behind Gaara. Before anyone could see what was happening, everyone except Sasuke, who was following the fight with the Sharingan. Lee's attack was stopped just inches away from Gaara's head, closer than anyone had gotten before. He can't use ninjutsu or genjutsu, so he focused all his time and effort on taijutsu, Guy explained. Even if he can't do nin or genjutsu, he won't lose to anyone. He's a taijutsu specialist. As Guy said that, Lee spun above Gaara, lashing out his foot and kicking the back of Gaara's head. Lee had just become the first person to land a blow on Gaara. Hey, I warned you. Lee won't lose to anyone, Guy said. That kid is strong. Now we are just getting started, Lee said, facing his opponent. Lee disappeared again using his speed. He landed a series of blows to the sand wall around Gaara, confusing it until finally he made his move, throwing Gaara into the floor with his next punch. What? Lee said as sand began to peel away from Gaara's face. Suddenly a wave of killing intent shuddered throughout the room. Damn, ever since this Chunin exam started, Gaara's slowly been losing control, Kankuro thought to himself. This is getting bad, Kit. I am even beginning to feel that damn raccoon trying to worm his way out, Kurama said. What? Naruto yelled inside his head. It's true, Naruto, the Nibi said, coming into his head. Naruto had not noticed Yugito come behind him. I can feel the bloodlust of that badger. Out of all of us, he was the most unstable. All he ever thought about was mindless killing. Unlike most of the tailed beasts, who tried to keep their distance from humans, the Aikibi would just waltz up to the nearest village and destroy it. I guess you could say the Aikibi is a true monster. Shit, this Gaara is awake, Kankuro thought. If he gets caught by this Gaara, there's going to be nothing left of him besides blood-soaked sand. What the hell is that? How did he block Bushy Brow's attack with that? Naruto said, coming out of his quick conversation with the Nibi. It's the armor of the sand. A look of fear could be seen in his face by both Naruto and Yugito. Armor? Naruto asked. Yeah, it's a thin layer of sand that covers Gaara's body at his own will. It's different from his sand shield that acts on its own, Kankuro explained. That's Gaara's ultimate defense. There are no weaknesses. What do we do? Naruto asked his demonic counterpart. For now, hope your friend doesn't get himself killed, Kurama said. Only if that badger gets out of control will we step in. If worse comes to worse, the seal on Yugito and Matabi has already been released and she can transform into her tailed beast. Transform into her tailed beast, Naruto said. Yes. For you, that is what happens when the chakra cloak you gain from me reaches 9 tails. You effectively turn into me. Although, since you and I are on friendly terms with one another, you will not die and you would be able to revert back to your own form at will, Kurama explained. That is the case with Yugito and I, the Nibi said, creating a slight connection with Naruto so that she and Kurama could discuss the fight. You need to release that seal on you to complete your transformation beyond the chakra cloaks. However, my seal has been released already and the two of us work in conjunction with one another and she can even transform into my true form. If I can transform into you, then I really am a demon. Naruto began to cry, pointing at the fox. Haha. It's not like that, Kit. I'm the demon. You are human. However, because you and I are on good terms, I won't take control and try to destroy you. That's what happened with the Nanabi, until the Hokage suppressed the chakra with that seal. The Nanabi was trying to escape and would have destroyed that girl's body and mind. You and Yugito on the other hand would retain your minds and be able to transform back into your original body. You follow. Kurama explained some more. Sort of, Naruto said. That's good enough for now. Just remember that I am the demon and you are human. We are separate entities, but we work together, lending each other our powers. The same is true for Yugito, but not for the sand kid and that waterfall girl. If their beasts broke free, they would be dead and the demons inside them would go on a rampage. If Gaara's forced to use the armor, then that means he's in a defensive pinch as it actually takes up chakra, Kankuro said to himself. That means that kid is actually pretty good. Is that all? Gaara asked Lee. What? If that sand is protecting him, then I must do some damage above the sand's reach. Lee thought, coming up with a risky idea. The lotus. Lee looked up at Guy-sensei and got a nod of approval. He unwrapped the bandages on his arms. The lotus smashes down at high rates of speed, Guy said, catching everyone's attention. That thin layer of sand is useless. Lee then began to dart around Gaara at high speeds, creating a vortex-like effect. Suddenly, Gaara was kicked into the air, his altitude increasing with each of Lee's subsequent blows. Gaara's ascension was too fast for the sand and Gaara soon broke away from it. Lee then wrapped his bandages around Gaara and began the downward spiral at an extremely high velocity. Even the primary lotus puts an extreme strain on the body. All of those kicks are extra dangerous as well, Guy worried. Please let it end with this. Primary lotus. Lee shouted as the vortex collided with the ground, leaving a large crater with Gaara lying in the middle. Lee had disengaged at just the right time and was standing, facing the crater, however, he was severely fatigued from the assault. Lee won. Sakura shouted. What? Both Guy and Lee said as they saw Gaara's body crumble away, leaving a hollow shell of sand. When did he switch? Guy said. It was when you closed your eyes to pray, Guy. Lee hesitated for a moment because of the pain and that's when he switched, Kakashi explained, catching it with his Sharingan. Hee. This is turning out to be fun, Gaara said sinisterly. I am going to enjoy killing you. The demon inside Gaara has finally awakened, Kankuro thought. Lee was thrown back into the wall by a wave of sand. He was barely standing after recovering himself. Why didn't he dodge it? Sakura asked. The primary lotus is a double-edged sword. It's a forbidden technique that puts massive amounts of strain on the user's body and legs, Guy said. Right now, he's feeling so much pain that he can barely move, right Guy? Kakashi asked as Guy nodded. Lee, don't forget, you are a genius of hard work. Guy called out as Lee remembered his days just out of the academy. Thank you, Guy-sensei, Lee said, before a wave of sand fell on top of him. Lee moved out of the way. With that, I am revived. Lee is smiling even though he's getting pushed around. Sakura asked. If anyone was as much into this battle as Guy, it was Sakura. No, now the tables will turn, Guy said, confusing Sakura a little. The lotus of the leaf blooms twice. You are finished here, Gaara said to Lee. This will end now, Lee proclaimed. The lotus of the leaf blooms twice. Kakashi thought on Guy's words. Wait. No. You don't mean. Yes Kakashi, I do, Guy replied as everyone wanted to know what they were talking about. Then the 8 inner gates. Kakashi asked. Yes, he will open them, Guy said. He has the ability. Even so, such a dangerous technique. Kakashi tried to argue. The extreme lotus. Guy said. That kid has a precious thing he wants to prove. So I turned him into a man that could accomplish it. How many gates can the kid open? Kakashi asked. 5, Guy said, astonishing Kakashi. Wait, what are these gates? Sakura said. Unlike everyone else, who was focused on the fight, Sakura had managed to get caught in between Guy and Kakashi's conversation. Sakura, the chakra coils of the body flow through 8 inner gates that limit the flow of chakra through the body. They are the gates of opening, healing, life, pain, limit, view, wonder, and finally death, in that order, Kakashi explained. The lotus forcibly releases these restraints. It increases your power tenfold, but destroys the body in the process. The initial lotus is done by opening the first gate. You release your brain's restraints with the first gate. Then you use the second gate to revitalize your stamina. After opening the third gate, you enter into the ultimate lotus, Guy explained. No way, the initial lotus does so much damage, does that mean? Sakura asked. Sakura, after opening all the gates, for a short period of time, you will gain more strength than the Hokage, but you will most certainly die afterwards. Neji, Sasuke, and even Naruto, I will not lose here. Lee thought. Third gate, gate of life open. Lee said as power began to surge out from him. Lee's skin turned red and his eyes turned white as everyone was now paying 150% attention to the fight. Fourth gate, Gate of Pain open. Fifth gate, Gate of Limit open. Kakashi, what is this? Sasuke stammered. Out. The power of the 8 inner gates, Kakashi told his student. Sasuke, just know that this power is considered forbidden for a reason. Before Gaara even knew what was hitting him, he was hit multiple times, in the air, in rapid succession. His sand armor was being ripped off him by Lee's assault. Neji, this technique was going to be for defeating you. But I will show it here and now. Gaara was thrown into the floor, sending a massive shockwave echoing throughout the building. Some of the people present were afraid the arena was even going to collapse. With his bandages still wrapped around Gaara, Lee reeled him in for one more blow. This is it. Extreme Lotus. Gaara was slammed into the ground just as the pain became too much for Lee. No way. The ground turned to sand. Guy said, utterly shocked that Gaara had survived that. The sand crept close to Lee, who couldn't move. It wrapped around Lee's left arm and leg. Gaara clenches his fist as Shino and Hinata saw the horror that was about to come. Desert coffin. The sand surrounding Lee's arm and leg imploded, crushing them. Now, die. Gaara called out as more sand made its way to Lee. Suddenly, Guy jumped in the way, dispersing the sand. Why? Why did you save him? Gaara said, clutching his head as everyone looked onto Lee, saddened by the damage he had received. Some of them knew that Lee's career as a shinobi was most likely over. Because, he is my beloved student and comrade, Guy responded. Gaara got up and walked away, obviously in internal strife with the demon inside him. Winner, Gaara, Hayate announced. To everyone's disbelief, Lee stood up, unconscious and with a crushed arm and leg, not to mention having opened the 5 of the 8 gates. Guy turned to Lee. Lee, you shouldn't be standing. The fight is over, I'm sorry, Guy said, realizing that Lee was actually unconscious. Lee, you really have become a spectacular ninja, Guy cried as Lee collapsed into his sensei's arms. Naruto and Sakura both rushed to Lee's side. Naruto sent a look of death, even managing to let a little of Kurama's chakra slip out, giving him the demonic eyes for just a moment. However, it was long enough for Gaara to get Naruto's message. Medical team, please get here quick. Hayate called as the stretchers were brought. You're his Jonin instructor. Please come here for a second. One of the med nins said to Guy. There were torn muscles and broken bones throughout his entire body. We could do something about that if that wasn't the only problem. The damage sustained by his left arm and leg are severe. I'm sorry to say this, but he will never be able to live as a shinobi again. To say everyone who heard that was shocked to the core would be an understatement. Even inside Naruto, Kurama was beginning to release his anger. For the demon, that was probably the most entertaining battle he had seen in a long time, and he was truly rooting for Lee. What really enraged the fox was the fate that Gaara had left him with. The next time he and the Ikibi met, heads and tails would be flying. No, it just can't be possible. It can't be over for bushy brows, Naruto started to tear up. If that's so, then what is he supposed to do? He wanted to fight against Sasuke and Neji to prove himself, can't you do anything about it? Kakashi was doing everything he could to restrain the screaming boy as the medics carried Lee away. To say everyone was shocked to the core by that match would be an understatement. Neji just looked at Lee. You never realized it, Lee, the heavens will never allow a pawn who puts their own body at risk to advance, he thought. With most of the field trying to regroup, the last 2 matches were getting underway. Only Tamari, Neji, and Omoi and Karui of Kumo remained. Next match. Neji Hoiga vs Karui, hey, a Hoiga. This should be interesting, Karui said quietly. Chapter 16. Concluding the prelims, Neji and Karui stepped forward to face each other. Well, I haven't seen a Hoiga in a while. Tell me, are they still so protective of their Byakugan? Or have they loosened up after realizing their mistake? What mistake are you talking about? Neji asked, curious as to how she seemed to be involved in some matter regarding the Hoiga. Begin. Hayate announced, afraid another match would start off with a long discussion. Karui drew her sword as Neji slipped into his gentle fist stance. Karui swiped at Neji, only for him to parry it and retaliate with his own attack, which Karui dodged. Hey, so I guess you really do want to know, Karui said, analyzing Neji's previous attack. Think back, almost 9 years. To the day that we came to your village to accept a peace treaty. Neji's eyes widened. Even in the stands, Hinata heard this and was slightly affected. What are you talking about? Neji replied. You don't know. On that night, you damn Hoiga killed my father because of their damn paranoia about someone stealing their Byakugan. Karui shouted. Neji soon let his shock leave him as he became more focused. Oh, this is going to get good, Kurama said to Naruto. What are you talking about? You can't sense that boy's killing intent. Well, I guess not, since it is being directed at that girl. Wait, why would Neji want to kill that Kumo ninja? Naruto asked. I don't know. Just watch and maybe you'll find out. Karui felt Neji's killing intent and shuddered a little. What is this? She said. That night, that your father was killed, Neji said angrily. You demanded the head of the Hoiga clan. However, the person who was killed by your father's action, was my father. Your father is just as responsible for my father's death as the head family is. What? Naruto said up in the stands. Hey Hinata. You're a Hoiga, what are they talking about? Hinata sighed, hoping that this would not come up with the presence of Kumo ninja. 9 years ago, when I had just turned 3, that was the same day that Kumo had come to Konoha to sign a treaty to end the war that they had been fighting for years. That night, well, Hinata said. They kidnapped me. My father killed the kidnapper and the Cloud Ninja demanded my father's life or they would renew the war. Neji heard Hinata and directed some of his killing intent towards her as well. Naruto could feel it now. Gaara had been feeling it ever since the match begun and his hunger for death grew even more, especially after being denied Lee. Like I said, the head family decided to use my father instead, because he and Hinata's father were identical twins, born only minutes apart, Neji said, emphasizing the head family, with a hint of anger mixed in. However, fate has smiled upon me today. While I am not able to kill the men responsible for my father's death, one of their daughters has been chosen to face me and so I shall begin my revenge. Sasuke muttered, everyone now turning to him. I know how he feels as I am the same way. He wants to kill those responsible for his father's death, the same way I want to kill Itachi for killing my clan. Sasuke had the same type of anger and rage mixed into his voice that Neji had. What are you talking about, you little punk? Karui shouted to Neji. You damn Hoiga killed my father. They may have, but your father made the first move in trying to kidnap a member of the main family, Neji scoffed. If it wasn't for your village's actions, my father would still be alive and you would not be destined to die at my hands today. Why you little? Karui charged at Neji out of rage. Surprisingly, Neji was keeping his calm, despite the conversation that had just taken place. Karui drew her sword, ready to impale Neji for his insolence. Kaden. Neji called out, sending her flying back into the wall. That was. Hinata said, shocked at the move Neji had just used. What was that? Ino said as everyone was also stupefied by Neji's defense. It's the Kaden, the heavenly spin. It's a Hoiga T technique that has belonged to the M main family, Hinata said. Wow. Does that mean you can use it, Hinata? Naruto said excitedly. No. My father has not even tried to teach it to me yet, Hinata replied. It's because she's a failure, Neji said, stopping his rotation. Shut up, Neji. Naruto shouted, trying to defend Hinata. No one asked you. I'm just telling the truth, Neji said, facing Karui who had just been slammed into the wall, leaving a nice impact crater next to the one Lee had made in the previous match. Neji charged in, seeing the opening. He landed a few attacks on Karui's arms and legs as they went numb and she fell to her knees. What is up with those attacks? Naruto said. It's like Neji only touched her and she's already down. It's the gentle fist style, Hinata said. Like Guy in the last match, and Lee in Hinata's match, she had found herself as the commentator for this match. All eyes were now on her as she began to turn red and back away. Gentle fist? Sakura asked. Why yes. It's the style of taijutsu passed down in the Hoiga clan, Hinata explained, taking a deep breath to calm her down. We inject our own chakra into an opponent's chakra coils. Unlike the taijutsu style that Lee and I use, the Iron Fist, which focuses on dealing external damage and breaking bones, the Gentle Fist focuses on using chakra to attack and destroy an opponent's inner chakra coils, Guy said, returning to the fight as the medics would not allow him to go with Lee. It may not look impressive, but you'll definitely feel it afterwards. What do you mean by inner chakra coils? Sakura asked. Like veins that carry blood, chakra coils carry chakra throughout your body. These chakra coils are directly integrated into your body's internal organs, such as the heart and brain, Guy explained further. Wait, how can the Hoige even do that? Sakura asked. It's not like you can see the inner coils of the body. With normal eyes, and no, Hinata said. Everyone had apparently forgotten about their resident Hoige in the stands as she had managed to pull a Shino and disappear from everyone's attention when Guy took over. But I can see them with the Byakugan. Everyone looked at Hinata's eyes and noticed the swollen veins around them and the outline of her pupil. Wow. Really? Naruto exclaimed. You really are amazing. Hinata blushed deeply at this. The gentle fist is different than normal attacks in that you release chakra from your palms and inject it directly into your opponent's body, damaging their inner coils, Kakashi explained, realizing that it was now going to be difficult for a bright red Hinata to say anything cohesively. Throughout the chakra network, there are 361 pressure points, or tenketsu, that control the flow of chakra throughout the body. By injecting chakra into these tenketsu, the gentle fist allows the Hoige to temporarily halt the flow of chakra through that point. Because of that, they possess the potential to cut off chakra from parts of your body, making it useless for their opponent to use or mold chakra in certain parts of the body. Am I right, Hinata? Hinata nodded and focused her Byakugan on Karui, who was still being beaten by Neji. He was going to enjoy this opportunity and prolong it as much as possible. It look like she has no more chakra flowing into both her arms and legs. What? Wow. Naruto said. Hey Kit, Kurama said from inside him, catching the blonde's attention. What is it? I'm trying to watch the fight. Naruto said to his resident demon. Sometime soon, get together with that little vixen you've been talking to. I want to try out something that may allow you to reopen blocked chakra points, Kurama said. Vixen? Naruto asked, confused at Kurama's terminology. Yes, Vixen. A female mate. I want you to get together with that Hoige girl and train with her once or twice as I want to test something out. Mate. Naruto shouted, practically fainting inside his head. You're so dense. At times I wonder why I got stuck with you. Back in the arena, Neji made a series of strikes, this time hitting Karui directly in the chest as Hinata cringed a little. What is it, Hinata? Sakura said. Those last strike hit her heart and the chakra network around it, Hinata stuttered out. What? Then that means he really does mean to kill her. Sakura said. Neji backed away, analyzing the damage done. Karui fell forward onto her hands and knees, coughing up a lot of blood. Soon after, she collapsed. Winner. Neji Hoiga. Hayate said, checking the damage done to Karui. Neji looked up into the stands, sending a rather evil grin towards Hinata, making her step back and fall. Get a medic in here quick. She's going into cardiac arrest. Most of the genin in the stands shuddered at the call from the proctor. A few medics came in and began initial treatment, before taking her away for further attempts at stabilizing her. Neji walked back up the stairs, sending another look to a shaking Hinata. Stop that, Neji. Naruto shouted. Why must you pick on Hinata like that? What has she done to you? It's not what she did, it's what her father did, Neji said, sending the same look to her that he did to Karui before beating her to death. Neji, enough. Guy said, apologizing to Kurenai and Hinata for his student's behavior. Neji just turned and walked away. Most likely, Guy had just saved Hinata from a rogue strike to her chest as well. For the final match, will the remaining two contestants please take the floor, Hayate announced. Tamari and Omoi stepped forward. To say the match was quick and one-sided would be an understatement. Wanting to end it quickly, Tamari opened her fan to the third star and hit Omoi with her Fuden, Winside Jutsu. Omoi was unconscious before he even had a chance to attack. Alright, now that the matches are over, will the contestants who have advanced please step forward? Hayate announced as the Jonin instructors and the Hokage returned to the stage, which had been half destroyed thanks to Lee's weights. The following finalists took the floor. Out of the 200 that started the exam, only 11 had made it to the third round. This was still more than Anko had anticipated, but it was better than the 22 that remained before the preliminary. Congratulations on making it to the third round, the Hokage announced. I guess it is time to start explaining the third round. Orochimaru-sama, Kabuto said, appearing before Orochimaru. The prelims have ended and the third round is set to begin in 1 month. Good. I look forward to those matches, especially Sasuke's, the snake grinned. Orochimaru-sama, regarding Sasuke. Kabuto asked. It appears as if you were going to give his the curse mark, but he had no mark. Did Konoha find a way to remove it? No, Orochimaru hissed. My plans hit an unexpected bump, and Sasuke never received my gift. However, it is only a minor setback and I will have my hands on him soon enough. As I said before, the matches of the main event will be seen by everyone, the Hokage announced. Each of you will fight to represent the strengths of your country and I would like you to fight with all your reserves. That is why the final event will be held a month from now. What? We are not going to do it now? Naruto asked. No. You could say I'm giving you a month for preparations. Unlike today's battles, where you faced an unknown opponent, you will know your opponents and you will be given time to prepare accordingly, the Hokage explained. Use this month to rest and train accordingly. I'd like to dismiss you now, but first we must decide the matchups for the next round. What the hell is it? Naruto shouted impatiently. I've got to train for the next round. Inside this box are numbers, Enko explained. Now, each of you will take a number and this will determine the matchups for the next round. Enko passed the box around and everyone selected their numbers. Alright, now read off in order your numbers and I will make the bracket, Ibiki explained. 1. Neji said. 2. Naruto said. Hinata said. 4. Shino read off. 5. Haku read. 6. Yugito said. 7. Sasuke said. 8. Gaara read, glaring over at Sasuke, who returned the look. 9. Tamari said. 10. Shikamaru yawned. 11. Dosu said. Ibiki thought for a second after writing the numbers and made up the bracket. Here are the first matches. Neji Hoiga vs Naruto Uzumaki, Hinata Hoiga vs Shino Aburame, Hakuyuki vs Yugito Ni, Sasuke Uchiha vs Gaara, Shikamaru Nara vs Dosu, and Tamari will face the winner of the last match. As you can see, there are 3 separate brackets, with each one having its own winner. The final match will consist of all 3 victors facing off in a 3-way match to determine the overall winner. Sasuke was definitely satisfied with his match-up. A month of nothing but training would give him plenty of time to become stronger. Naruto was finally going to be able to pay Neji back for insulting Hinata and maybe even do something about that stick lodged up his ass. Being on the same team, Hinata and Shino quickly made an agreement to respect each other and not hold back in their coming fight. Haku and Yugito were both neutral about their match. They really had nothing to truly prove besides their own abilities. Shikamaru just saw everything as troublesome, Tamari was indifferent, and Dosu wanted to prove to Orochimaru that he wasn't a guinea pig. You are all dismissed now, unless you have any questions, the Hokage announced. I have one, Shikamaru said. Since this is a tournament and there is only one winner, does that mean only one person will be promoted to Chunin? No. Throughout the tournament, there will be judges judging your abilities. It is possible to become a Chunin even if you lose your first match. Likewise, there is a chance that the victor could remain a genin, the Hokage explained. So, there is a possibility that everyone here will become a Chunin. Tamari asked. Yes, the Hokage responded. Although, think of it this way. The more matched you fight, the more chances you have to convince the judges that you have the skills to become Chunin. Thank you all for your efforts in the second exam. You are all dismissed until 1 month from now. Alright, back in the village. Naruto said, arriving at the village after the teams were escorted out of the forest. Teams 7, 8, and 10 were walking together. Who wants to get ramen? Geez, is that all you ever think about? Sakura said. Although she heard her stomach growling and figured surreal food for the first time in 5 days would be nice. I have a better idea, Asuma suggests. How about barbecue? Choji quickly became excited. Why don't we enjoy this night together to celebrate the 6 of you who have moved on to the 3rd round, before you all begin your training tomorrow? Everyone liked the idea, except Naruto who still had ramen on the brain, and they quickly found themselves at the favorite restaurant of Team 10. Afterwards, the Rookie 9 and Haku went their separate ways. Hinata ended up back at the Hoiga compound and thankfully for her, Neji wasn't anywhere in sight. Hinata, I heard you made it into the finals, Hiashi said, appearing from their home. Why yes, father. I have. Hinata said, giving a quick bow to her father and hoping for some sort of acknowledgement. Very well, be in the dojo tomorrow no later than 8 a.m. We begin your training, Hiashi said in an emotionless tone. This was not the sort of acknowledgement that she had hoped to receive from her father. However, the fact that he was going to train her for the finals had to mean something. Naruto was up early the next morning getting the ramen that he never got last night from Ichiraku. Kakashi then walked inside. Hey, Kakashi-sensei, I have a request. No need to tell me, I already know what you're going to ask, Kakashi said. I already found someone to supervise your training. What? Naruto shouted, waking half the still asleep village. But I want you. I'm sorry, Naruto, Kakashi apologized. But I have more important things I need to take care of. HMPH, you're just planning to train Sasuke, Naruto said, seeing right through Kakashi. Now, don't say it like that. Besides, I've found you a much more reliable teacher, Kakashi explained. Yeah, like who? Naruto questioned. Me, a new man said, coming onto the scene. It's you. Naruto shouted and pointed at the man. The closet perv. Ebisu-sensei's a closet perv. Kakashi questioned Naruto's last comment. Why the hell does he have to be my teacher? He's weaker than me in the first place. Naruto explained. I beat this guy before with my harem jutsu. Suddenly, Ebisu covered Naruto's mouth to prevent any more words from coming out. Harem jutsu? Kakashi asked, now seriously confused. It's nothing, really. Ebisu said, trying to dispel any suspicion. He turned to Naruto. I'll treat you to all-you-can-eat ramen later on. You better. Naruto responded. Why do I have a bad feeling about this? Kurama said as Naruto agreed with the demon. Haku, Zabuza said, appearing at Haku's apartment. Yes, Zabuza-sama, Haku responded to his former master. So you made it to the Chunin exams, not bad, Zabuza said. Although you don't really need it, I'll be supervising your training over the next few weeks. I feel like some of these kids are going to be a real handful. Yes, I would much appreciate that, Haku said politely. With that, Haku had his teacher for the next few weeks. Good, you're here, Hiashi said, entering the dojo to find Hinata already there. Let's begin, shall we? What are we doing, father? Hinata asked. We are beginning your training. I can't have you embarrassing the Hoiga main branch in front of some very important individuals, Hiashi said, depressing Hinata with his comment. We need to work on your speed and accuracy, plus we need to strengthen your Byakugan so that you can effectively see Tenketsu in battle. Yes, father. Where are we starting then? Hinata asked. First, you are not to deactivate your Byakugan during these training sessions for any reason. This will help initially to strengthen it. We will begin working on your accuracy and then your speed. Finally, we will incorporate those with your Byakugan. Just so you know, I expect you to be able to use our family's signature stance for the finals. Hinata knew what this meant. He would be hammering the 8 trigram stance into her head these next few weeks. Shikamaru woke up, after his alarm had been going off for the past 3 hours. It really was a troublesome instrument that he had to deal with each morning. I'm surprised you're up this early, Shikaku, Shikamaru's father, said to him. Usually you sleep in an extra hour or two. Well, you know. Asuma-sensei wants me to train for the upcoming match, Shikamaru explained. It really is troublesome. So my opponent is Hinata, Shino thought, meeting his father outside the courtyard of their house. We both know each other's moves rather well, so it will come up to whoever puts in the most work over these next 4 weeks. Son, are you okay with this? I mean, she is your teammate, asked Shibiki, Shino's father. I am. We promised each other that we would work hard these next weeks and fight our hardest when our match came. To be honest, I am looking forward to it, Shino said, letting out more words than he usually does. Kakashi was climbing a rather high cliff, with one hand tied behind his back. He knew he shouldn't have accepted Guy's challenge. Suddenly, his feet slipped and he barely caught himself from falling. Seeing the top, he knew he was almost there. Gate of opening, open. Kakashi said, giving himself a boost of energy and reaching the top. Oh, you're here already. No, you're just late, as usual, Sasuke said, standing opposite him atop the towering plateau. Right then, let's get started, Kakashi said. I'm sure you remember Lee's taijutsu from using your Sharingan. I do, but what does that have to do with this? Asked Sasuke. Well, Lee had the right idea. You will need an extreme amount of speed if you are to defeat Gaara, and to learn what I am going to teach you. Go on, said Sasuke. You know, the reason I want to train you, is that. Kakashi said, handing Sasuke a piece of paper. Sasuke knew what this paper was. It was chakra litmus paper, used to determine the elemental affinity of ninja. Kakashi channeled chakra into his and it crinkled. Sasuke did the same and received the same result. You are the same type as me. Kakashi formed the Chidori in his hand and Sasuke let out a smile. This was going to be interesting.